Hey, Lorna, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just popping in a little bit. Are you teaching this morning?
I am. Super excited.
Okay.
I love this one.
I'm just popping in to see. Yeah, good, good.
I appreciate you jumping in.
Just wanted to say hi. Got a lady. Yeah, I'm jumping in. I'm going to be in and out. I've got a lady. My Monday is my weekly accountability group. So, but I'll try to come in and go.
I appreciate you, like I said, coming in. Not getting the video to work, so I'm trying to play with that.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
Brooke, I'm about 4 coffees behind you this morning, just to let you know.
You know, sir, I'm up by 4 every day, right? Like my day is half done by the time most of the people I work with are logging in.
Does Hope get up that early?
She's up by like 6:15. She doesn't sleep ever, even on the weekends. Like maybe she'll go till like 7, but she's an early riser. Kills me.
Hi, I'm Gary.
All right, I got it figured out. I was telling Mike I couldn't get the Gary Keller video to run, so
Oh no.
I know.
And then just don't forget when you share now, if it doesn't automatically check the box for share sound anymore. So when you hit that share button, just make sure you toggle the little box that says share sound.
All right. Yeah, if you go around the corner, you'll see there's a ton of desks there.
Did you see it at the bottom?
No.
Oh, so hit stop share.
Mhm.
Now, when you bring up the share screen, so click share screen once.
Yeah.
And at the bottom left before you pick it,
Oh,
they
okay.
share sound. So that was one of the weird updates. It used to be auto toggled on and now it is not.
Thank
So
you.
if you don't, yeah, then they're just hearing it out of your speakers and it can be tinny.
That is good to know.
The link is also all set for you. I'm going to give that to Mike real quick. The form.
Are you going to put in the Ignite Toolkit, the Google one, and are you going to put in the Spark guide for the participants as well?
Yeah, you got it.
Awesome.
Here, Mike, I'm actually going to give those to you. So this is the form that they fill out.
Let's see.
And then.
What, you mean the 10-4, the daily 10?
Yeah. Yep.
So how is it working? Are you putting it in the chat and they grab it from there? Or did they already get it?
Both.
Because I didn't see, I love the whole workbook is one big thing. Who did that? Good job. Awesome.
So I went through our Facebook page to see kind of what some of the pain points were previously. So I just combined the script books, the elements in the Spark together into one, and then made the other one as well into one.
Awesome. That's really helpful for people. Or me. Let's say it's helpful for me. I want to print a bunch of them.
Talk to your preferred partners and ask them to put a sheet on top with all their info and ask them to print it in color double-sided for you guys. That is one of the ways to help your preferred partners inside just get their info out and then you don't have to do it. So,
Love it.
yeah. I used to really push on those preferred partner relationships to get as much done for the agents as I could and just help them get in front of agents.
Is that 10-4, not to keep talking, but is the 10-4 in there too somewhere?
Yep. And we'll make sure it's up on the Facebook page and a pinned post as well.
All right, I'll stop talking now.
No. Mike, did you get all those I sent you?
Yeah, just those three?
Yep.
Cool.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, Bonnie.
Everyone's coming.
Good morning, Miss Brooke.
Good morning. I miss seeing you every day. in
I know, I
person.
miss you too. I just love that little girl of yours, though. She's so adorable. She's
Good,
a
I'm
mini
shipping her
Brooke.
up to you.
Oh,
She's all
good.
yours.
I doubt that. She's a mini Brooke.
It's making me crazy.
Do we know how many people are expecting, Brooke?
Oh, let me look.
1,000.
8,000. I don't know if we have a Zoom that will. Let's see. There's another Brooke. I rarely meet other Brooks. Hello, other Brooke.
Hi. It's becoming a name now. Now you see it in school, but not when we were in
Yep.
school.
Yep.
The really amazing thing will be if there's another Lorna on here.
Yeah.
I've only met one other Lorna.
Very rare. I don't know. I was talking to someone the other day and he said, I know one, oh, it's like a waiter at a restaurant. And he said, my mother was a Lorna. And I was like, really? I said, you just don't hear that name.
Okay, did anybody look up at their screen real quick and all of a sudden see like nothing but a dog face in the camera?
No.
Tracy Campbell, that was kind of funny. Okay.
Oh, there it is.
You like
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
on the back too.
That's a riot.
How's everyone today? Good weekend?
Good weekend.
Busy.
Busy is good in real estate, right? If it was a good real estate busy weekend,
Yep.
what we're all looking for. Steve, I can hear myself through the wall. Steve right next to me. Well, now I know that how annoying I really am because I can't.
Everybody just, nobody loves their own voice. Well, maybe a few people in this world do, but I know that when I have to play back things or edit things, I'm always like, oh God, mute that girl. She's awful. And especially like when we're trying to record things, at the end of the day, if I'm trying to make how-to videos, I'm always like, why am I doing this so late? All it is bloopers and have to restart and hear myself over. Thank God for editing tools.
That's what I need to learn. Editing tools. We need a class on that.
So I do not have those totals. I'm unable to see those with my
Okay, just
login.
curious to see, like, at 9 o'clock, should we just get going and then?
Oh, absolutely. We
going.
don't punish the prompt, right? We keep
we go.
going. So we will kick this off at, we'll be kind today. We'll do 9:01.
Yeah.
I love that I'm seeing people hop on and show their picture.
I love it.
Awesome. Gives the energy to the screen.
You mean you don't like teaching to blank bubbles with just people's names?
Oh, it's really, well, it's always really fun is when somebody talks and it's black, I just see their names and I'm like, it's weird to talk to a screen like that. Oh, look at more faces. Yay.
Faces.
Good morning.
Got Monday right.
Eric, new guy, Eric, hi.
Hello,
Every
hello.
time Eric introduced himself to me, it was always new guy Eric. So you got to get rid of that because you're way past that now.
Am I old guy Eric now?
So you're mid guy.
After today, after the minute you start, you are not new anymore, are you?
No.
It's in one of the Ignite materials somewhere. Stop saying you're a new agent. You're not new. You
You're
have more
not new.
experience than the buyer and the seller out there.
I am far too aged to be new at anything.
I like that.
Good morning. This is Maz. Hello.
Hi, Maz.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And we understand there's some of you who may not have cameras on some of your computers. If you're on towers that don't have webcams, that's perfectly fine. Carlos, don't feel like you have to go somewhere that has it right now. And
Thank
is this Andover, Carlos?
Dover, New Hampshire.
Dover, New Hampshire. Okay. I worked with that Carlos Garcia in the Andover one. So before we get rocking and rolling, let me introduce myself. I am Brooke Silva, your regional tech trainer here in New England. I'm so excited to see so many familiar faces and names on this. One of the things we created before I left my market center was our Zoomrenity acknowledgement. Okay, so I like to share this with you guys before any big Zooms. We understand that we are learning in a new time in our lives. We understand that digital learning can cause fatigue. We want to invite you to take a moment to get present in the moment, clear your head, clear your space, and turn your video on. We understand you may have to turn your video off here and there, but please stay present with us. We are so glad you're here. So that's my little Zoomrenity acknowledgement for you guys. I'm going to introduce Lorna, and she's going to get rocking and rolling with the other instructors and support people here with you today, and have a fantastic Ignite.
Brooke, I'm Lorna Helms. Welcome everybody to your first day of Ignite. We're going to have an amazing month that's going to happen. I am out of the Concord and Lexington Market Center, so Boston Northwest. I have had my license since 1993. If you can believe that, makes me feel very seasoned, I feel. So I am excited to be here with you today. I love Ignite. I think it's an amazing opportunity for you all to learn. I will ask you all how you engage in here is how you engage out there. So I ask you all to play full on, kind of a little more like, oh, Brooke said it so nice and calmly. I'm telling you, let's be with us, right? Let's do this. So everybody, I want you definitely get your coffee, get ready. I promise you will have breaks. I can't make it past like 10:30 at the latest without a break. So plan by 10:30, we'll be taking a 10-minute break, but you should have water and coffee. You are all big kids, so you can obviously mute and shut your screen off if you need to do anything. I'm easily distracted. So if your phone rings, please shut your camera off for that moment and then put it back on. Otherwise, I'm like, oh, who are they talking to? I'm very fascinated by that. So definitely, be as present as possible, but I get life happens around you. I'm super excited today because I have Mike Mcpherson, our amazing MCTT, and he is going to be here checking the chat because as I share my screen, I cannot do both. And he'll be muting if there's a distraction, but he'll also, if you need help unmuting, if you're not sure, I want everyone to take 1 second. I want you to practice. Unmute yourselves and say hi, and then mute yourself again.
Hi.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, everybody got that, right? So now I want you to shut your picture off, turn it on. Off, on. Everyone on. All right, I lost Steve Smith now. He was right next to Mike a second ago. That was awesome, right? So that's kind of just practicing with all of our technology. And if you don't have a webcam, that is okay. The other thing I want you to practice is reactions. So on the bottom of your screen, if I'm talking, oh, there you go, Brooke, a million miles an hour, I might be talking a little fast. You can do a reaction if you have a question. Is there anything else I need to talk about with reactions, Brooke? Oh, there we go. Look at all these fun reactions. I love it.
No, this is a great way with raised hand. So if you click reactions and you saw raised hand, when you do that, that zooms you right up to the top. You can see Steve next to me as well. So if there's a question, Lorna may not see it, whoever's speaking during Ignite, but your MCTT will see it and help break in and help get that question answered for you. And then you just click reactions and lower your hand again. So raise hand, lower your hand.
Love that. And the other thing is, don't feel like you need to raise hand. Just interrupt me. I do go quick, and just feel free to unmute and say, Lauren, I have a question, right? Because guess what? If you have a question, someone else probably has the same exact question. So make sure you're asking questions, interactive. This is going to make the time go by like that. I also want to introduce not only the amazing Mike, but I have Steve Smith here with us. He is a top agent in our market center, and he is also amazing. So he's going to be bouncing ideas off of me and injecting where, I might go, he'll slow me down and go, Lorna, what about this? Or he might say, like, limiting belief. If I ask him what it is, he might answer me. And he's going to role play with me. I didn't tell him that, but he is. So we're super excited today to have both Mike and Steve. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. You guys are in for a good day. You ready to get started? All right. Who has their participant?
Yes, we are.
Oh, yay, Tracy. Who has their participant guide?
How do we get that?
It is in the chat. Mike just put it in there. You can click on it and download it. You could print it, whichever works best for you. If you're going to keep it on your screen, I recommend you have a notebook next to you. Nice job, Tracy. Make sure you have a notebook next to you so that way you can take notes. Do you ever find that sometimes when you write things down versus just hearing them, you learn them better? Anyone else? I have notebooks upon notebooks, right? It just cements it in your brain. So we are going to get started. I'm going to share my screen. I got to click on that little button. Thank you, Tracy, for sharing. For Brooke for sharing that. Can you all see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Yes, we can.
All right, awesome. So my first question is your big why. Why did you want to become real estate agent? What were your hopes and goals in becoming a real estate agent? Now this is the interactive part. You have to unmute and tell me.
I chose real estate because I'm graduating college next week or in 2 weeks, and I want to create a lifestyle where I can provide for my family.
I love that. Congratulations on your graduation.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Who else? Why are you here? Why did you want to be a real estate agent?
I owned my own business at one point, and I just can't work for anybody else anymore. I can't do it.
Being your own boss. Being your own boss, right? That's awesome. Building your own business.
I'm tired of other people making a boatload of money for me selling their crap.
So you're going to make the money selling stuff for people. I love that. So financial freedom is what I hear. Being your own boss, choosing your own destiny, taking care of your families. Those are awesome. So I want you to all do me a favor. I can't see you all, but I'm going to pretend that you're all listening to me. I want you to shut your eyes. Shut your eyes. I can see some of you. And I want you to think about what is your ideal life, right? What are you doing for the people you care about? What charities are you supporting? How would you make the lives of yourself and everyone around you better? Now you can open your eyes. It's nice vision, isn't it? I want you to take a second. I just want you to write 2 lines about that. I want you to write down what charities are you supporting? What are you doing for the people you care about? Everybody get it written down? All right. So why do I have you do that? Why do we talk about this first?
Or at least the reason why I feel like it is because whenever you are about to quit, you use that as your vision so you can continue going.
That's right. Understanding what makes you tick, right? Why are you here? Always going back to that. We're going to talk a lot about that with working with buyers and sellers and helping them go back to motivation. But you need to also be doing, know what your motivation is and know about your mindset from the beginning. Every job you love is not perfect. Is there any job? Have you ever had a job that's perfect? There's never been any hiccup, never any drama. No, right? Everything, right? So if you love a job, they're still not going to be perfect. And so you always need to remember to go back, like, why am I doing this? And knowing your big why is important. So I know for me, I got 2 kiddos. Well, they're not kiddos anymore. They're still kiddos. They're 17 and 20, but that's why I do everything I do. Anyone else? Why do you do what you do? I know we talked a little bit. Steve Smith.
So my goal is to give back. That's my big why. So my business I use to help others, right? So I am involved in a tremendous amount of charity work, donations, all that stuff. And my business helps fund that.
I love that. I love that. So knowing your motivation will help you stay focused. You're all going to be able to sell real estate. We're going to teach you all of the mechanics of it. But you know where all sales start? Right up here, right? It all starts here in your mind. So speaking of that, has anybody ever heard of a limiting belief? Now, tell me, how would you define it?
Limiting beliefs are pretty much you set a certain mindset in your head and it stops you from going to your full potential.
That's it right there, right? It definitely does. It helps. Limiting beliefs are ways of thinking that hold you back from success. So as you go through Ignite, you might catch yourself thinking things like, I don't have time to make my phone calls and do lead generation. I'm really busy ordering my business cards or making my website, right? And all of it's important, but we're going to help you define what's most important. And those limiting beliefs about time and what you have. Or what are some other limiting beliefs that you might have right now as we start talking about getting your real estate career started? You can
For me personally, sometimes I'll think like, they don't want to be bothered by me. I don't want to contact them. They got a lot going on. I don't want to feel like I'm bothering them.
Right. I don't want to bother them. I don't want to talk to people. Right. How do we turn that around?
I think just by interacting, like I know, like I've already made a couple of conversations with someone who I didn't think wanted to talk to me, and they were so excited that I reached out to them. I recently moved back to Maine. I was down in Charlotte for like 10 years, and like just reaching out to old friends and how excited they were to hear from me, and everyone wanted to meet, and it made me feel good.
It surprises you, doesn't it? People do want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And script practice.
Say that again.
Script practice.
Script practice helps you get through that too, right? But thinking about the fact is this, have we been in quarantine for a year in most of the places we live, right? Have we been out seeing people? Not so much. People want interaction actually more than ever. They do want to hear from you. And what a cool time in your life or in the world to start a great career. So they do want to hear. I know I love hearing from people that I haven't talked to in a while, right? So making sure you find the right scripts, and we're going to share some of those with you today. Let me see. Henry Ford has a famous quote. If you think you can, or you think you can't do a thing, you are right. Right? So Henry Ford knew that mindset was one of the factors that determine your success. And through Ignite, we're going to look for ways to get your limiting beliefs out of the way. We're going to connect to your goals, your big why. So everyone has that big why, or at least the beginning of it written down?
Lorna, I would jump in and say, I've been in this business for 5 years now. This is my 5th year, and I'm still working on my big why. So don't panic. I think that it's something that takes a lot of time to cultivate, and the more time you spend on it, the richer it becomes.
Thank you, Steve. And it's true. It's not just a one and done, right? It evolves. It changes, just like your business will change for sure. All right, let's see next. All right, so what do successful agents do every day? You are going to memorize this screen by the end of Ignite. Just you'll see.
You're gonna lead generate every single day.
They lead generate every single day, but they
Day and night.
Day and night. Every word you speak. So thinking about what successful agents do every day, they grow their business and they run their business. Which one's more important?
Growing.
Both of them. You have to find a balance.
They're both important. But let me ask you this. If you know how to market seller listings, but you don't have a listing, does it matter that you know how to market listings? It's important. You need to know it. Yet, if you don't have the buyers or sellers to utilize running a business, so we always have to start on the left. I will challenge you to say, choose the ones that I think are very important are all of them. And most important is lead generating for buyers and sellers and previewing real estate. Those are the two. Why do I say that? Tracy said it already, right? You got to lead generate every day.
Pretty much as a real estate agent, that's all you should be doing, unless you're playing with kids.
I love playing with kids, but yes, I agree. Lead generating for buyers and sellers. And you know what? If you have kids, you are lucky. You know why? Because now you're at playgrounds and you're out and about, hopefully again, talking to people all the time, right? I talked to more people when my kids were on the playground or at some soccer event or t-ball. I love t-ball, right? So all of those things. What is, if you don't have kids, well, then there's other opportunity, isn't there? Every single day. Do you ever go to the bank? I know not everybody does anymore, but to some people. How about grocery shopping? Right? What else do we do every single day? Or almost at least once a week?
I go get my coffee every single day.
Oh, getting your coffee. There you go. Are there people there?
I do it to the drive-through, but you know what? I think I've decided I'm going to start going to different breakfast places and grab myself maybe a cup of coffee and a poached egg and chit chat with people. And even out my little real estate agent's book on the table next to me while I do real estate on my iPad. They're bound to ask.
That's right. Great. That's a great idea, right? So the point that I'm making is leads are everywhere, aren't they? Right. And we're going to get more into that. The other thing I wanted to ask you is why is previewing real estate important? On the left-hand side there.
It shows your clients that you're actually active in real estate and that you're actually aware of the market and what's going on.
That's right. You know the market. Steve, have you ever been somewhere and somebody's like, what did that house go for? Anybody
All the
ever?
time. It happens when you're at open houses. People want to know what the inventory around you has gone for. Yeah, that's a pretty consistent question from most folks. They want to know what the market is doing. So previewing will help you to gain a knowledge base for allowing you to lead generate at a deeper level for sure.
And Steve, as an agent, can I just go to open houses?
Yep.
And look at a house and look at it?
You certainly can. My open house this weekend, I think I probably had 5 agents come through on Saturday. Some of them had clients with them. Most of them did not. They were previewing just to see what the inventory on the market looked like.
And the cool thing right now, Steve, is that literally you could do your whole entire town in most areas in a weekend.
If not less.
If not less, maybe a Saturday.
Don't even have to go to Boxborough. There's no inventory there.
There you go, right? So thinking about the inventory right now, there's no reason you don't know it. Steve, is it different to see a house on the MLS or on the internet somewhere versus being in the house?
So I come from a construction background. I was in construction for 30 years. So I really like to see houses in person. It's a completely different experience than a 2-dimensional piece of paper or a screen. there are things that you can see in the house that you might not ever pick up. And, most realtors are pretty savvy. They don't take pictures maybe of a cracked foundation or a wall in the backyard that's failing that you might pick up on. So getting out there and getting to know not only what the inventory is, but what to look for in a house is probably one of the most important things you can do.
Yep, I agree. So get inside, that's where you can really see it. So for the next month, while we are doing Ignite, we have Spark. That's the first 8 modules, 8 or 9. And that is really about mindset, lead generation, building up. And then we're going to do Elementals, which is about marketing presentations and buyer consultations. So we're going to run it all. You are going to be ready to rock. But this is a doing class, my friends, a doing class, which means you're not just listening to my voice. You are out there doing it. You are making phone calls. You are previewing houses. Who's ready?
I do have a question.
Yes.
When you say preview real estate and just understanding the market data, are you suggesting that like we actually go to these, like I have buyer clients, but can I just go to them by myself and just check it out and that's what you're saying? Actually,
We're not only suggesting it, we're telling you that's what you should be doing without a question.
Me booking right on like showing time and saying, hey, let me just go look at this house.
Exactly.
Just me.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, the same thing here. I thought they had the house here in Norwell on the market just 2 days this weekend, and I wasn't sure what to say. I'm like, oh, I'm not going. I wasn't sure it was going to be my first day open house visit. So broker tour, what do you just say work with Keller Williams? I'm just coming in.
These are great questions, and that is exactly it. You walk in. Well, you can't shake hands right now, but maybe do the elbow thing or just say hello. I walk in and I say, hi, I'm Lorna Helms from Keller Williams Realty, Boston Northwest. I'm just here to preview the house. Thanks so much for letting me come by.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing that previewing real estate does, besides get you to know the market, it gets you to know other real estate agents.
Yeah.
And in this market, relationships matter with the co-brokes. Right? You want to know all the other well, not all of them, but a lot of them. You want to know the people of the listings right now in particular, right? So getting to know them. A lot of times I'll challenge you, some of the seasoned agents, especially if it's not a crazy busy open house, they love to talk. We're talkers. And so they, if you say like, how long have you been in business? What's your favorite thing about real estate? What's your biggest challenge? Pick their brain. They want to tell you. We love it, right? We feel like we've been doing it a long time. We want to share our knowledge. So I challenge y'all, hit at least 1 to 5 open houses in the next, let's see, what's today, Monday? All right, I'll give you till Saturday because that way, but broker tours are important. Who's still got broker tours happening in their area? Anyone? Do you even know what, all right, does anybody know the difference between a broker tour and an open house?
No, I was about to ask.
No, I don't.
No.
I saw lots of blank spaces. I thought, I better explain this. So broker tours are typically during the week, and they are opportunities for you to go see the house just for agents.
Oh, all right. So I was confused on that. Okay, good.
So in your MLS, well, at least in ours, in MLS PIN, and those in other states, you'll have to tell me, I don't know, but they actually have designated days. Usually in our areas, it's Tuesday through Friday. And each kind of town picks their day. And you just go. It's usually during the day, like 11 to 1 or 12 to 2.
And these times and places are in MLS.
They're in MLS. Yep. You can search under broker tour. So it's awesome. And it's great because it is mostly just agents. Once in a while, there's a showing happening or buyers there. But it's nice because, again, you can ask questions.
Pre-COVID, they used to be really fun. We would do lunch and have music, and it was kind of a great chance to hang out and get to know other agents. And I hope we get back to that because they're really a great opportunity to get to know other agents. And jumping back to what Lorna said earlier, if you develop a relationship with if you're representing a buyer and you develop a great relationship with a listing agent, sometimes that can make the difference in getting your offer accepted. So it really behooves you to get out there and talk to people and get to know them and show what kind of person you are and what kind of person you're going to be like to work with.
Yeah, I love that. And that shows them that you are a go-getter, right? And that when they see you on the other side, they're ready. All right, so any questions? This is on page 4 of your participant guide. I sometimes have to check because sometimes they don't match up. So you have all of this. So what are some ahas by this conversation about growing your business and running your business? I'm going to take a second and write it down on page 4 or in your notebook. And then share with me. Any ahas from this page? So our ahas are, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that.
Just getting out there and seeing things before I actually even have a client to be taking to a house. I think that's a big thing for me, is I didn't know how important it was to
It's
see the
awesome.
active inventory. Yep.
And those of you who are good at social media, like blast that, like post that, like blast it everywhere. I was at this awesome open house. It was a cool old Victorian. Take a picture of the doorknob or some like cool feature. Like, make it a fun thing on your social media post, like about what you saw and, adventures in real estate type of thing, right? All right, everybody, let's keep going. So what is Spark? Well, we kind of already talked about that, right? It is just to spark your career, get you going, get you excited, and get you in production quickly. Who wants to be in production quickly? Woo, right? Exactly. So we have a little video now from Mr. Gary Keller. Does everybody know who Gary Keller is? Right.
Yep.
Faces saying yes. All right, that's good. All right, hold on one second. I had it.
Hi, I'm Gary Keller. This course will allow you to get off to a fast start you can build on. Because if you repeated the principles every 90 days for a year, believe me, you have an awesome first year. And just as important, you would have built the foundation and momentum for your entire career. It is practical, realistic, and easy to apply. It's about the fundamentals that determine your level of success in the business of real estate. From our research with top agents, we have found that they too started their careers with these fundamentals, and they continue to do them along with their teams to this very day. And it's not hard. It just requires a little focused effort, a few hours every day. Now, there is really just one way to achieve the goal. It's lead generation. Other skills are important, yet without leads to work with, your skills won't mean a thing. Dealing with business never takes precedence over what? Finding business. Never. Research shows that top producing agents make lead generation their #1 priority and the one thing they make sure they always get done. You can do this. And when you do, you will get the leads, the relationships, the experiences, the career, and the income that you want and deserve. Go get them, and good luck.
Who loves the music? It's my favorite.
Hi, I'm Gary Keller.
Move to the next slide. There we go.
Hi, I'm.
All right, there we go. So, what does Gary say is our #1 priority?
Lead gen.
Lead gen. Tell me, Anthony, when you hear lead gen, what does that mean to you?
Well, at least for me, it's been mainly cold calling, warm calling, door knocking, and just trying to connect with people.
Connecting with people. I love that. Anyone else?
Kind of just pictured as like planting a seed, just plant that seed so they think of you, when they think of real estate, it may not lead, to something going under contract in the near future, but at least they know you're in it, and they have you in the back of their brain that you're in the business and you're there for them.
Right. So think leads, think relationships, right? Connecting. That's what I hear you saying, Adrian. It is Adrian, right? I'm not reading that wrong.
Yes, Adrian. Yeah, that right.
So I love that. Connecting and building relationships. That is what it's all about, right? I don't know if you noticed when those words were popping up: leads, relationships, connecting, which all just lead to your career and your income. But
I think also making yourself noticeable without the career at first, you know, posting something interesting. The other day was just so funny. I had one of those things that says, the average American lives in 11 houses their whole life. It's been 6 for me. And it was fun because people who I didn't even know were responding because they were like memories. Oh yeah, oh my God. I didn't say anything about real estate after, but it was interesting to see all these people that are watching my Facebook never responded before.
Yeah, it is interesting. You know, everyone's interested in real estate in some way. Whether it's I've lived in 10 houses, whether it's, you know, something about what's, you know, how home ownership, maintenance, those type of things. People are interested, as they should be, right? It's the biggest way for people to build wealth. So nothing else about business will have as big as an impact as the number of leads you have. So where do we find our leads? We're going to talk about that. But leads are the number one thing, right? And I know everybody wants this magic. Here's leads, here's leads, here's leads. It takes some work, my friends, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to get those leads. So first things first, I have to keep moving you around my screen. Sorry if it looks like it keeps covering the screen. So for the next 4 weeks, we're going to learn the foundations, which include successful daily habits. See this right here? Daily success habits, excuse me. So Spark, we're going to talk all about the whys and hows of lead gen. And then we're going to get appointments. And then we're going to get into the business basics. So I have a question for you all. Over the next few weeks, as the next couple ignites, 8 or 9 to be, is it 9 or 8, Brooke? I'm like, I think it's 8. But thinking about 9, okay, it's 9. So 9, and thinking about over this next 9 days. Did you notice on that screen it said appointment? That's the goal. We want you to get an appointment over the next 9 days. Wouldn't that be awesome? When I say that, who has a limiting belief about that?
Agent.
There's no way I'm gonna get that.
There's no way. Tell me more about that, Tracy. Why not?
I don't know enough about people. I don't know enough about real estate.
Guess what?
What?
It's okay. What market center are you from, Tracy?
Plymouth.
Plymouth. And does Plymouth have leadership team?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Hi, Tracy. My name's Lindsay. I'm from Plymouth as well.
Hi, Lindsay.
Awesome. And do they have seasoned agents in that office?
They do.
Yes, we do.
And do you think that they would help you if somebody says, well, you're making these calls, I've actually been thinking about buying a house.
Tracy, I'll be at the Plymouth Market Center Tuesday at 10 a.m. if you'd like to join me.
Thank you. So thinking about turning that limiting belief around. If you get an appointment, that's the best problem to have, my friends, because not a problem at all. It is calling your market center and saying, I got an appointment. Oh my gosh. And let me tell you, guess what? In a month, if you got your first appointment then, you're still going to do that, right? That's what it is about working at Keller Williams. You have so much support. You are not an island. We're a big, huge family, right? Yeah, Seabrook, right? So we love each other. We're going to all help each other. So make the calls and know no matter what happens, which meaning you get a listing or a buyer appointment, you will be fine.
Can I just throw in that, like, I think especially in things like this, people get hung up on like it not being okay to not know the answer to something. It is so okay to not know the answer. And when you're dealing with customers and potential clients, like they're going to respect you way more if you say, you know, I'm not sure about that. Let me look into it and get back to you.
That is exactly right, Caroline. And the fact is, who are the first people you're most likely going to be talking with?
Your circle of influence.
Right, your friends and family, people who already know you. So the fact is, if you're calling and talking with them and you say, I just started my career in real estate, they know it's your first time. They're gonna give you a little grace, right? And they're gonna be okay if you say, I got to check. I'll get back to you on that. Just make the connections, my friends, make the connections. All right, I'm gonna start sharing my screen.
I have a question.
Yes.
This is Marie. Does cold calling work? I have a list and I'm terrified to call people that I don't know.
We are going to talk about that, Marie. It does work, and you need to practice the scripts. That's the biggest piece for that, is knowing how to connect and convert. And we'll be talking about that over the next month. But we'll definitely be learning about that. It does work. Great question. All right, so according to NAR, this kind of goes back to what I was just talking about, 66% of sellers and 41% of buyers find an agent through a friend. Does that surprise you?
Nope.
No. So what does that tell you? Call your friends and family. That's what it tells you. You need to let everybody you know you're in real estate. Can everybody get their phone for me, please? Get your phone. It's the only time I want you to touch your phone while we're on. There we go, right? So I want you to look in the contacts section. And I want you to scroll all the way down to this in your contacts section. I'm doing it too, because I always forget how many people I have in there. At the very bottom, there's a number. Does anybody see that number yet? What's the number? Give me some numbers. Put it in the chat.
592.
592. I see 1,500. Woohoo, Brooke. I get 3,400.
763.
Nice. All right. Write that number down. We're going to do some math. You might want to keep your phone for the calculator. All right. So we're going to take that total number of contacts, and I want you to multiply it times 6%. Everybody good? Multiply times 6%. That number gives you the average number of real estate actions that will be happening in the next 12 months that are within your sphere of influence. What's that number? What'd you get?
11.
11 people. That'd be a nice first year, wouldn't it, Anthony?
It would on
2.
2?
22.
Right.
45.
35, 24. This is awesome.
84. 10. Yeah.
Okay. This is awesome. So that's potential business right in your phone. Now what I want you to do is use an average commission. So I want you to multiply that number times the average commission in your market center. Now, every market center is going to be different. Let's just go with 7,500. That might be a little low for some, a little high for others, but 7,500. So Anthony, you had 11 times 7,500. What is that amount?
81,450.
81,450. That is your potential income sitting right in your phone, Anthony. Oh, I see 180 here. That's not bad, is it, Anthony?
Minus the
266.
Put away those taxes.
630.
How much? 230 I just heard?
630. Isn't that right?
630. Woo, you have a good phone. There's lots of people in there. So can you see right here and right now? Everyone wonders where to look for leads. Right here, right? So you've already got it. You've got your database to start with.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course you can.
We might talk about this more later, but so I have a sister who, I'm from here, but I was living in California for almost 20 years. And then I moved back and changed my career to real estate with my sister, who's 2 years older, who's already done it for 10 years. So what happens when they kind of scrape the barrel of the friends and family kind of area? That's my question.
So we're looking for new leads, aren't we? Right? We're gonna talk about, but we're gonna talk about this is your MET database. This is people that know you. Then we have the people that we don't know yet, that we want to get into our database, right? So your sister's probably already been doing that. Are you gonna work together with her?
No. I mean, she's in Massachusetts too.
And
But
where are you?
New
You're in,
Hampshire.
you're in New Hampshire? Okay. So
Sounds like a good referral base to me.
yeah,
There
go
you
back and forth. So when I got into real estate, my mother was in real estate. And we were at the time not partners. She had been in business for 6 years. I had that same challenge because she had kind of already grabbed most of our family, right? Luckily, I was married, and that whole side of my family was where I started focusing in on my business. So where could you focus in on other parts of your family that she may not? And is she focused on the Massachusetts group or just in any other states? Like, does she mail to people in New Hampshire?
I don't think so. She's talking about getting her New Hampshire license, but I'm telling her it's awful. She should stay away.
Just tell her you'll take care of them for her. She doesn't need to do that.
Exactly.
Right? So just remember, there is enough business for everybody. And you will continue as you do open houses and you start to make calls. You're going to call and they might go, oh, I know somebody who's thinking about buying a vacation house in New Hampshire. Right? So even if you're calling the same family members, they may have a different conversation because you're in different states.
Thanks so much.
I have
Absolutely.
a question.
Okay.
One of my limiting beliefs, and this has already happened to me, is that a lot of my contacts know other realtors, similar to what we just talked about. But the reason they'll go with somebody else is that that person is experienced and I'm brand new right out of the gate. So is there a way to is there a script or something that can get around that, or how does that work?
We'll let Steve tackle this since he probably had that experience in the last 5 years when he first started.
So Julie, tell me, what did you do in your past life?
I worked in insurance. So my background is with some finance and insurance.
You're a perfect realtor. So tell me, what did you do for the insurance company? Were you in sales? Did you write policy?
No, I was back office. So a lot of it was beneficiary ownership claims, things on that level.
So tell me, what was some of your successful moments in your previous career and why were they successful?
So that would be certain projects that we achieved. So meeting goals and setting goals, meeting them, and getting teams to work together to pull that together.
Do you hear what you just said?
Yes.
So if you took that same approach with one of your clients, I'm really great at, what did you say again?
Projects.
Setting goals, communication. I heard a lot of things in that one little sentence that you said. So take some of the past experiences you've had and translate them into real estate. It's a people business, right? So if you're great at communication, let people know that. And you can always say, listen, like Lorna said earlier, I may not have all the answers for you, but I'm backed up by a great company and a great office. And I'm happy to go back there and get you the best answers that I can.
Okay, thank you.
You have to know your value and your value proposition. Think about what it is that you brought to the table in insurance and literally sit down and write it out. Write out what it was that you were good at your job and translate that into real estate, and that will help you be successful.
Thank you.
All right, nice answer, Steve. Nice job. Great question, Julie, because I bet maybe somebody else feels that same way or has had that same experience already. Is that true?
All day long.
Yeah. You'll be able to share the office stats. So last week we practiced with this exact same script of, I know 6 agents, blah, blah, why would I choose you? And it went back to, we have 197 agents in our office and we're #1 in all of New England or the state, whatever the stat was that we used. And so it really is remembering that even if you are not on a team, you are actually on a team. You're on the Keller Williams Realty, whatever your office name is, team. Right? And that's the support and the experience. I used to tell all of my new agents, I still tell all of my new agents, that our leadership team alone, our operating principal at the time had 40 years of experience. I have 20 years of experience. Someone else had 20 years. So there's like 100 years of experience just on the leadership team, right? So you've got the experience behind you. Yes, Steve.
I would say just as you go out and preview houses, preview your team. Sit down with people, have coffee with people in your office. How did you handle it when you first got in the business and you didn't have the experience? There are so many people in this trade that are willing to help you, especially in Keller Williams, that you'll start to develop some confidence when it comes to that by learning from experience of others, right? We always can see fathers standing on the shoulders of others. And I would say that it really holds true in real estate.
Awesome. All right, we are ready to move on, my friends, unless there's any other questions. All right, so we're going to start with your sphere, in case you didn't know that from the phone conversation, right? So your sphere are people you've met in one way, shape, or form. And again, thinking about your daily coffee person, the person you meet when you have coffee, the person that you meet at the bank, the person you meet at the grocery store, right? So these are people in your sphere that already know, trust, and respect you. And therefore, they're likely to be willing to help you. Because after all, people like to do business with people that they know, trust, and respect. You've already established, just from being friends and being in their world, that you have reciprocal communication, right? So the phone, your phone is a great place to start. Anybody have an address book, like a paper address book? Or a place in their computer where they send out their holiday cards or their family things? I know I'm totally dating myself, I get it. But anybody have something like that?
No.
I do. I send Christmas cards every year.
Okay, I knew it wasn't just me. But so they're everywhere, right? I have a question. Do you like to do business with people you know, trust, and respect?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So do you think that your friends and acquaintances would rather use a realtor they know and trust?
Can I can I add something real quick and give up, I think, a rookie mistake I made? So I've been using social media like crazy, putting market stats out there off the MLS, off everywhere. And I used to be a nurse, or I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for 10 years and I switched careers. So a nurse called me and she's like, hey, she knew I was a real estate agent. Can you show me this house? And I'm like, oh, sure. I was so excited. And I was like, this is going to be my first one. And she knew that I was just working with her at the hospital, a couple months ago. So she knows I'm new. And so I said, let me see. So I got her this appointment and showing time. Within an hour, we were there. So I'm like, oh, she's my friend, I'll just do this. I'm talking about working with my sphere, like it's someone you trust, right? So I didn't even have all the paperwork because, everyone's like, lead generate, get out there and you'll learn as you go. So I get there, I have the property disclosure. I'm like, here you go. She's like, oh, do you know about, I'm like, I'm sorry. I got here within an hour. I said, I will get you all your answers that you need. I didn't have her sign anything. I got home and I was calling Tiffany, which is our coach for Keller Williams, Maine. I get home and I'm sending her everything because they're contemplating an offer. And so, they say, don't tell a customer anything until they've signed with you as a client. Well, I'm like, oh, she's my friend. So I'm telling her about, they're asking rental questions, they're asking for comps and everything. They decide not to go with that property. On Friday night, they want to see another one. And I'm not on my phone within probably 5 minutes. She goes, oh, disregard. We're all set. And so I said, may I ask? I said, bummer, I would have loved to show you that property. I said, may I ask, did you find another agent? Yeah, we found another agent to go show us the house, blah, blah, blah. They placed an offer on this house. All that work I did was for nothing. So I'm kind of feeling like down on using my sphere, like people you think that are not gonna go with another agent just took away my business.
Steve wants to say something. He's like, unmute, Steve.
So Unfortunately, that's going to happen to you probably more times than you really want to over the course of your career, right? So there's been several occasions where I thought someone was going to go with me and they chose somebody else, but you have to use it as a learning experience. And I would say to you, what can you do to continually keep in contact with this person, right? Just because you didn't get this transaction with them doesn't mean you won't get transactions with them in the future. And how you handle this now will set the stage for whether or not they're going to refer you, right? So I know it hurts. God, I'll be the first to admit it. It is a painful experience for someone not to choose you, right? I mean, I've literally sold houses and had somebody buy with another agent. So it's not uncommon. It's how you handle it that sets you apart, right? So take the experience and say, okay, we know this person, may not feel comfortable with you, but I would suggest getting them right into your database, sending them a handwritten note. I hope next time we can help. What could I have done better? Use it as a springboard to grow who you are as a person and as a realtor.
Yep, that's good advice. It doesn't feel good, that's for sure.
Nope.
But you think, you're saying like when you're a new agent, oh, they'll understand that. Well, you think they will understand that. And I was giving them the most up-to-date statistics and still they go with, well, my real estate agent had retired and he referred us to somebody else.
Did you do the best that you could?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I was contacting giving them real-time data. I'm like, what didn't I do?
That's a good question for them.
Can I just say something quickly?
Of course.
This is Marie. I'm sorry. Let me have my video on.
Thank you, Marie.
Okay. All right. This is Marie. It goes on and off. There you go. So, and I understand the frustration, Brooke. I really, really do. I'm a new agent that started with another agency 2 years ago and was left on my own. Every time I needed help, my broker was out on vacation. And I would sit in my car and cry. And I finally said to myself, listen, she's in it for the money. I'm in it to get money. This is not working out. So I moved and I joined Keller Williams. And I'm talking to, these clients that I've known for years. And then when they called me and said they were ready, I sent them to a loan officer and then they were not ready. But now that they're ready, they call me back. I say, let's do it. So mind you, I have a full-time job. So I'm working with these guys Monday through Sunday. Family time, no more. My kids are like, what's happening? I'm like, I get to get this because to me, I'm not just your agent, I'm your friend, and I will be looking out for you and do everything I can to get you what you need. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to see you again and not be able to hug you or say hello to you. So it becomes personal. And I'm doing my best and working. Now, mind you, in this market, the market is dry. And then we're competing against cash buyers, we're competing against conventional loans, and I have an FHA buyer. And then yesterday, she called me and she said, I'm so disillusioned and disappointed. And I think that you're just not aggressive enough. So I'm sitting there going, can't believe this. But then I kind of, I swallowed my pride. If it was typical me, I would have come back hard. And I said, no, you can't do that. But thank God her husband said to me, we know you work hard and I really want you to continue trying. And let me work with my wife. So it hurts. You just want to tell them everything that you've been doing. But like Steve said, you have to think about when this is over, you want them to, because this is what happened. If she goes with another agent, I don't think that agent can do better than what I'm doing right now. Now, they may put him in a crappy house. And then later on, they give him a call and they never answer. It's like, it was just a business deal. Here, you got your house, now go deal with it. And then they'll realize, oh my God, Marie would have been a better one. And now that, even though I did not go with her, if I know somebody who I really care about, I'm sending them to Marie. Because now I know what she did and now I can appreciate her. So it hurts, it still hurts. I didn't sleep all night last night. Woke up this morning, I don't want to talk to him, but I swallowed my pride and I called him again and said, I'm putting another offer. If it does not work, we're just going to keep going. But I said, if you think that you need another agent, I can refer you to another agent. Our office is full of great agents and they may be able to do better than I can, but what I'm thinking is referral fee. If I give you somebody, I'm getting at least a little bit of what I've worked so hard to get. And if you are successful, you could still be happy that I referred you to an agent who finally was able to help you. So yes, Brooke, I'm right there with you, but you know, just one day at a time. When it's gone, it's gone. You just have to move on, because you're not here for 1 year. You are here hopefully for the long haul. So stick with it. It's not one buyer. You got many more to come. So just stick with it.
The first buyer,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
when you're in real estate, that sucks.
I know. Oh, trust me, I know. But you know, I mean, my first year I only had 2 deals. The whole first year, 2. And everybody's like, oh, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? So I understand. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you for saying that, Marie. And Steve, thank you as well for that advice. And thinking about too is what happens sometimes when we have friends, and this is totally off topic a little bit, but is that we treat them like friends, right? Like, and it sounds like you were working really hard, so I don't want you to take that this way, but always thinking about that buyer consultation is so important to really understand what's important for them. And so that's not now, actually, I think I'm teaching that next one, but thinking about just making sure you're setting, just like we all rush to the house, which you have to in this market, and let's sit and talk for a half hour. You know what I mean? Like, let's dig down a little bit deeper to make sure that you meet the needs. Right. So,
That's
and I
what
think
we didn't do. It was an hour. Like, she called me and we were at the house in an hour. So we didn't have that time to build that trust and set our boundaries of what I'm going to do for her and what, you know, reciprocal.
Right. And that's the thing, right? I mean, that's right there and then. You already know, like, next time, I, you know, would love to do this. Yet the fact that she called, you obviously are letting people know you're in real estate.
That's a win right there.
Exactly. The fact that she called. So I want you all to turn to page 7 in your participant guide. Everybody there? It looks like this. Can you all see that? All right. So I want you to understand why you want to use your sphere, right? Because it doesn't cost you anything to call people you already know, does it? You're not paying for leads. You're not paying for whatever. So it's the cheapest way to call the people that you know and trust. It requires fewer touches than a cold call because they already know you. And I want you to think about on page 7, when it talks about defining your sphere, right? Your family, your friends, anyone you've done business with or has done business with you. So I'm thinking about, I think it was Julie, who was an insurance agent. Who did you do business with? Parents of a friend or a child, or your significant other. Contacts you've generated going about your real estate business, and people in your community, association or religious association. It's pretty much everybody, like we talked about at the beginning. But start thinking about, the fact is this, people move because of a life event, right? What are life events? Give me some examples.
New job.
Divorce.
Yeah.
Having a baby.
Marriage.
Marriage.
in the family.
Retirement.
Yep. All of those are great, right? And that is why people move, right? Life events. So by keeping in touch with people and finding out about their life events, thinking about those people right now, you all just named a bunch. Write down one person that you know is going through a life event, right? Again, marriage, divorce, retirement, moving closer to family, job. Did we say job relocation? I don't know if we said that. Having a baby, downsizing, which is different than retirement, right? Or can be. Did you write down one person? Put their name in the chat. I don't see the chat moving. Okay, there we go. Everybody should have a name in there. Put a big star next to their name. Because guess who you're calling when we are practicing calling people today? That person. They might not have a real estate agent yet. You all have somebody. I love that. Lots of people. We all go through life events almost every day, don't we? So the waves, this is the really important part. So on page 8 in your participant guide, you will see this graphed. It is the likelihood of a move graphed, right? Really understanding. And this is why you want to stay in touch. The average person moves every 8 to 10 years. Right after that move, the likelihood that they will want to move again is at its lowest point. So right down in here, right? But over time, it's more and more likely that they're going to buy, sell, or they're going to move. The peaks of the waves are the moment the person moves. So up here, anybody know someone who just moved? Right? So
I know someone who just moved, but she moved to Rhode Island.
All right. So again, life changes, right? Where do you live?
I'm in Norwell.
Okay. So thinking about the peaks and the valleys, right? Really, you want to know. So I want you to now take a moment and I want you to think about 5 to 7 people that you know in your sphere of influence who's moved recently, who might be thinking about moving soon, and who's somewhere in the middle. So who's on this upper track? Like they've already moved, they're thinking about moving, like they're more likely to move, and everywhere in between. Put down 5 people. I'm looking. If you're writing, you better be writing. One more minute. You got your 5 names? Not yet. All right, my friends, I have a question for you all. So be ready to unmute and answer. How would you feel if your friends only called you when they wanted something?
Not too good.
Not
Pretty
too bad. Pretty bad.
Not much of a friend.
That they wouldn't really, would you feel like they cared about you? Not so
No.
much.
No.
Not really.
So do you trust people that you think care about you more than your money? Right? People who actually care about you and you want to talk and do you want to talk and do business with them? Has anybody ever had a friend, thinking of insurance? Everybody I've gone to high school and college with that's in insurance has reached out to me over the last, 30 years. So I laugh because I always know they're getting into a new business and it's okay if they keep in touch. Guess who I do business with and who do I refer out to? Them, because I know that at least they're making the effort to keep in touch. But if I hear from them once and they never call me again till I post, oh, having a baby, and then all of a sudden they call, you need life insurance. Didn't hear from you for the last 10 years. And now you see that my life event, right? So the waves that you see, the reason that you keep in touch is so people know you care no matter what part of that wave they're on. Does that make sense? So you always just want to say top of mind for everything real estate. And if you don't do a deal with them, if you sell somebody a house and you don't talk to them again for 8 years, why do you think they're going to be first to call you when they're ready to make a move? Right? We're not doing this. This is long game. Who's in it for the long haul? Who's going to be standing here in like 20 years teaching and say, I've been doing this for 20 plus years?
Me.
right? I love that, right? Awesome. I see that Glorcel, please tell me how to pronounce your name correctly, has her hand raised.
So no, oh no, I just raised my hand because I agree.
Oh, okay.
But, actually, my name is Atanis. My team leader's name is coming up with my picture. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you joined us. Probably if you registered with her name or something, that could be why. So we want to stay in touch, right? That is the whole point of this exercise. Any questions about that? Does that make sense to everybody? Right, so keeping in touch consistently. So the next page, I actually don't know if you guys have this. You will. On page 10, I would like you to turn to page 10. And then I want you to look at me. Everybody look at me. All right, practicing the Ford method, right? So we're calling your sphere of influence. We're going to review some important things. So one is on page 9. It talks about the do not call list. Every market center has a policy and a procedure. So I'm not going to say do this or do that. You should be double checking it. You know, if you have a friend or a family, typically they're okay if you're giving them a call to check in. But if you're making cold calls, using the do not call list is very important. If you're not sure what that is or how to find it in your market center, check in please with your market center leadership. Okay, so now we're going to talk about calling your sphere. Now we already talked a little bit about this, but I want to hear it from y'all now. What are your fears or hesitations about calling your sphere of influence?
Hey, Lauren, can I talk about one that I hear often from some of the new agents?
I think Anthony was going to say something first, but then if you don't mind.
I was just gonna say, just because like I haven't talked to a lot of people in a long time, especially with COVID, it's just hard to really connect and build that bridge again. A lot of people have put up their walls just because it's like a brand new world again for some reason.
I agree with you. It does feel that way, doesn't it? Is K because of COVID? Is that what you were going to say? Like I haven't talked to somebody in a long time, right? So now it's the best time, right? It is. Am I going to tell you it's going to be easy? Not always. In fact, I have some agents who tell me it's harder to call the people they know than the people they don't know. So thinking about calling the people you know, it's real easy, right? Hey, Steve, ring, ring.
Hi, this is Steve.
Hey, Steve, it's Lorna Helms. How are you?
Hey, Lorna, how you doing? Nice to hear from you.
Nice to hear from you too. I know it's been a long time. I feel like since COVID started, I have not talked to anybody, any of my friends or family. Do you feel that way?
Oh yeah, I just feel like so isolated. I love when people reach out and connect with me. It just, you know, any kind of human contact at this time is just so great. I really appreciate you reaching out.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, how's your wife and daughter?
Oh, they're doing great. You know, Jenny's struggling a little in school, but Liz is doing great. You know, we're hanging in there. How about you guys? How you doing?
Oh, we're doing good. I mean, college has been real interesting with my oldest, you know, being in and out of dorms and things like that, but everybody's doing really well. Thanks for asking. Hey, how's the landscape construction business going?
Oh, you know, it's crazy with a lot of people not traveling. You know, landscape is just insane. I've been doing designs left and right, and thank you so much for asking. It's really been great for business.
Awesome. Hey, did you get I sent over Mary Smith. Did you get her? Did she give you a call? I told her to give you a call.
Yeah, she did. She's been great. Thanks for the referral. You know, I have a friend that I was talking to the other day who was looking for a realtor. Would you mind if I sent her your contact information?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, believe it or not, it's been really busy over the last year through COVID, which was not what we thought when it first started. So thanks so much for thinking of me.
Really, I'm surprised. I thought the market would be much quieter with everything going on. That's great to hear.
Yeah, it's been really exciting, a whole new world in real estate. We're doing things digitally. We're doing tours on my phone. It is nothing like I ever would have imagined when I started over 25 years ago, but yet really kind of neat to see how we've just changed it up.
Awesome. Well, you took such good care of us. I'll send Bob your way.
All right, that would be awesome. And Steve, I just had one last question. Did you
Sure.
guys ever make it on vacation with COVID this year? I know that you have that family vacation you do every year.
We didn't do the family vacation, but we took my daughter and her friends up for kind of a long week up in Maine, which was great. Thanks so much for asking.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, you know, Steve, it was awesome to catch up with you, and I'm glad to hear that your business is booming through this crazy time. Let's make sure that if either of us can catch a breath, maybe over in the next month or so, we'll have a cup of coffee and catch up more.
That would be great. I'd love that, Lorna. Thanks so much for reaching out. It was nice to hear from you.
Thanks, Steve. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye.
Right? That was easy. Was it easy? And sometimes is it going to be a little bit more stilted or awkward or like not as responsive? It's possible. It's possible. Yet using our forward script, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Did I catch all of those? I didn't talk about every single thing, right? But I caught most of it, right? So it was just a back and forth conversation. Would you not agree? All right. So guess what? I want you to take page 10, which is the Ford script. And if you don't have your Ford script, I want you to write down family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Because we're going to do an activity before the break. Are you guys ready? It's like one of my favorite things. All right. So we're going to practice with each other. You're going to get to know each other. So I'm going to do a breakout room. Let's see, we have 77 people. So I'm going to do 36 breakout rooms. That's all right. Am I doing my math right? All right, listen, this is not the time to be jumping off, my friends. This is where you are going to get to know each other. So has anybody ever done a breakout room before?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. If you've never done it, it's going to pop up and it's going to say join. And you're just going to click on the join button. Now, I just want to make sure I'm clear on this exercise. You are going to practice the Ford script with the person in your breakout room. If there ends up being 3 for some reason, then just give everybody a turn. Okay? All right, are y'all ready? All right, and then I want you to report back to me, what did you learn about that other person? This is your first opportunity for networking, my friends. Let's do it up. Participate. Here we go. You should all be getting the join button. Steve, you're going to get one too. Grace, did you not get one? Let's see. Trying to find what room you would have been in.
I'm brand new. This is my first time. I'm a little overwhelmed.
I know it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Well, you know what?
Okay, I could join. I'm
going to put you into number 3 with Steve so you can listen, okay?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. Room 8. Moving people around so people get opportunity. Did you get your invite? Sherry, was nobody in your room?
Right, nobody was in there.
All right, what room were you in, Sherry?
I think it was 16.
Okay, I'm gonna move you to 14. Here you go. Try
Okay.
it. All right, Sarah, what room were you in?
I was in 19, but nobody else was in it, so I left it.
All right, move you to 20.
Okay.
Try that one. Hi, Deb. I noticed that you weren't in your room, so I moved that person. Do you want to go into a room? No, it's okay. I can't hear you, you know. You're muted.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. Mondays are tough for me. I have my weekly group. So how do you put people in rooms, or does somebody else do that? Because I'm going to be teaching, I think, next week. I want to teach more, but we need more teachers, but whatever. So how do you get people into rooms?
So on the bottom of your screen, Mackenzie, hold on one second. She said her
Yeah,
microphone.
I'm not a host, so I'm just seeing, so you go into the main Zoom and log in as the host, right?
Correct.
And then you can create rooms.
Mackenzie, I'm moving you to 18 so you can just listen. Yes, you just go into breakout and I do automatic breakout and just divide people up.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
I'll
it
have
works
to-
great.
And I see that you have your MCTT in. I need to see if mine can do it. I signed myself up, but didn't look at her schedule at all. But it's certainly makes it helpful.
No, it's
I'm gonna
good.
go see her now, actually.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Well, I'll try to jump in on your class too.
Thank you. I know.
Kayla, did you guys have a room?
We did.
Okay. All right. You guys should go back to your room until I
Okay.
call everybody back.
Okay, you got it.
Okay. Were you with Amy?
Yes.
Okay. You guys go back and practice. I think if you click on the 3 little buttons, it will let you go back to your room at the top of your screen. If not, you guys can just stay with me. It should say like a join button
It doesn't
somewhere.
give me that as an option. It's just stop video, pin, and hide self view.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
And I'm not sure I know how to reassign you, but let's see. Hold on. Breakout rooms. What room were you in?
I think it was 29.
No, I think I see it.
Oh, you know, if you click on breakout rooms on the bottom, do you see breakout rooms?
Oh, yep.
And then you should click on.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Welcome. How was it? It was good, right? Hi, Kristen. I didn't see you before.
I joined a little late, but
All
now
right.
I'm here.
I'm
Excited.
glad that you're here.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, as everyone's pouring in, I want you to put in the chat box, who is your partner? What's their name? And if you know where they live, like what state? Let's start with just the state. I'm not going to ask you. So who are they and where did they live? Who is your partner and where do they live? In the chat. Put it, oh, we're putting it right in the chat.
Oh, in the chat.
Yep. Who are they and where do they live? Like what state? Isn't it fun? We can meet people from other states in this Ignite. I love that. We're like starting our referral partners now. It's awesome.
Yeah, I just met Peter from Portland and had a great conversation with him. We're both new to real estate and ready to jump off and start making money.
That's right, Tracy. We had a great conversation.
I love it. So thinking about, so in the chat, everyone's putting in who they talk to and where they're from. Like it can just be the state if you're not sure about the city, but put that in the chat. And then I'm going to look through my screen. I love that you all came back with your pictures. That makes me so happy. So I would love for Christina, would you share with me, Christina Westgate, who you met and tell me what you learned about them?
Sure. So I was actually talking to Anthony, who we heard at the beginning of this. So I feel like we probably know a little bit about his story. I'm telling you as you, but so he's finishing up college right now. In his getting to this point, he kind of went through trade school, you know, studying carpentry. He's really always had an interest in real estate, you know, kind of the building, the selling, kind of like the whole picture. He's going to be looking to do kind of real estate, maybe in the Andover area, Middlesex County. He's attended boot camp for real estate. He's been working on some expired listings, getting some exposure to doing some calls. So we talked about that for a little bit, about what he's experienced thus far with that.
Awesome.
So,
I love that you got that much information. Anthony, what did you learn about Christina?
I learned that she just recently signed 2 weeks ago to Keller Williams. But before that, she was in the medical services for 20 years. She loves helping people. And I also learned pretty much, like I said, like she loves helping people. She wants to make sure that she can help people and give them the best advice and make sure that they feel like they're actually being helped. And that was something that like was really key, because in this industry, you really need to make sure you're willing to help people, because if not that many people are going to be willing to talk to you. She has a coach. She actually has a coach right now, and she's actually learning as much as she can, because she's like brand new to real estate. So there's some things that actually we are actually going to exchange. We exchanged informations, and I'm actually going to be sending over my some of my scripts to her that I have.
I love that. Thank you both for sharing. And so what I want all of you to do, if you didn't do what Anthony and Christina did, which was to get the other person's phone number and email, I want you to message them on the chat. So if you click on the chat button, should, Mike, tell me if I'm doing this wrong, but it should show everybody in the class's name. And you can do it.
If you click on everyone, it should expand open to the list.
And then you should find the list and find your person and send them a private message. I need your email and I need your phone number. I'm gonna give you a minute. Mike, you're laughing at me. Lorna is crazy. That's what she's thinking.
I love it. This is great interaction. This is cool.
Hi, put your hands up. Yes, Megan.
Just while everyone's doing this, I thought it'd be an okay time to kind of ask, but I didn't want to interrupt before. But I was just curious, like, if there is do you have an agenda for each class, or like a title of each class, so that I know like what's going to be covered in each class? Because there are some that, like, you know, ideally I would love to get to every single one of these, but I am, you know, an agent right now working at a different place and like slowly transitioning. So like I have, you know, other things and appointments and inspections and different things that could come up. And I just want to make sure that, you know, I know what's being covered in each class, so I know which ones I can kind of carve out time and say, you know, I really want to be attending that one and active for that class, because that's something that I really want to learn more about. So I was just curious if there's like a way that I could know what's going to be covered in each of the classes.
Lorna, I threw a link into the chat that has a little flyer that has all of the dates and the different topics that are being discussed.
Awesome. And
thank you so much.
Do you have anything to add to that? Because I feel like you may want to say something.
Yeah, let me know how I can also help you as you transition through. I threw my info in a private message as well. They are recorded and on the Facebook group, so you can pop in and watch at your leisure. So if you want to send me a quick email, I can also help you transition in with your market center as part of your transitional team.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
All right. And just as a side note, though they are recorded, everybody, unless you cannot absolutely make it, especially as a brand new agent, you should be on here, because I would be watching the recording. Have you ever done this? I watch a recording. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. And then I have a question and I can't ask it because I'm watching a recording. So you definitely, live is best whenever possible. And this is very sequential. So if you miss one that night, you should watch the video so you're ready for the next day, my friends. Life is going to happen. Yet right now, your job is to be here as much as possible to make the most of the experience.
And just so you know, the breakouts don't go as part of the recording. So if you're watching, you don't get all that juicy good stuff. There's no way for you guys to see all the breakout rooms. Those are my favorite part of these things, is just being able to talk to other people in the room and get where they're going. So understand, Megan, what's going on. But yeah, if you can be here live, that's where all the value is.
I totally agree. All right, everybody, we are going to take a magical 10-minute break. So it's 10:29. At 10:40, I'm even giving you an extra minute. We are going to be back here. So remember how we practiced with all our muting and camera capabilities? Let's shut our cameras off, mute yourself, stay on. Do not leave me. Just take a break and we'll see you back. Get some water, take a walk. I'll see you in 10 minutes, everybody. 10:40.
Is the class still running?
Yeah, we're on break right now.
Okay.
We'll be back in like 10 minutes, I'm pretty sure. 10,
Okay.
you said 10:40.
Yeah, hey, Tom, yep, 10:40, everybody comes back.
All right, super.
2 more minutes, my friends, 2 more minutes before we start again. $10:39, I'm starting to see some faces. Yay, everyone's coming back. All right, 10:30. So while we're waiting for everybody, I'd love to hear and share. I'm a big sharer, can you tell? So share with me some things that you've already learned this morning.
I've learned about previewing real estate. That's actually something that I've been wanting to do, and I didn't really know how to go about that process, but now I kind of do. So I'm gonna try to do it this weekend.
All right, so what I hear you say is that you're gonna do it this week. You're not gonna
Yeah,
try,
yeah.
you're gonna do it, right?
I'm gonna do that this weekend.
All right, I love it. So think about your calendar for Saturday and Sunday and what day of, time of day, right? Typically open houses, noon is usually the earliest. Sometimes you see an 11, but typically it's like 12 on. So when you're time blocking in your calendar, think about what day. Is it Saturday? Is it Sunday? And then block out 2 hours. I love that. Aha. What else?
I'm a new agent, but I just finished reading the Millionaire Real Estate book. And so what you're talking about, the big why, I feel like we're putting it into practice. I knew that scripting was a good idea, but I just joined a team, like signed the paperwork last week. So I haven't actually practiced the script. So the breakout rooms, interacting, getting us to do that was really helpful. So yeah, that's the Ford method. I had heard about that too in another maybe coaching call somewhere along the way. So it was nice to be able to use it.
Oh, I'm glad that you found that helpful. And I will tell you the Ford script is the script.
Yeah.
Right? It is the building of the relationship and the rest of it will come. When COVID started, for all of us who were in real estate in COVID, what they said to us at leadership and what we shared with everybody is, this isn't the time to say, do you want to buy or sell a house? It was, how are you? I'm here for you, right? And that's what people really want to know is, how much do you care? Yeah. And, then you build into the rest of it. But Ford script is the best way to start, in my opinion. Anybody else?
I thought it was great to hear. I know the focus just from even working with my coach. I'm a new agent, like 2 weeks in, and coming from a very different field that I had been in for like over 20 years. So, but hearing them really focus on the lead generation, I tend to be very structured. I like to have everything. I like to know as much as I can and be as prepared as I can. So it was good at the very beginning when you guys just talked about, it's not like, you don't have to focus so much on, do you have your business cards? Do you have this, as opposed to the lead generation? I think for me, I'm one of those that's a little bit like little OCD, like I like things just so, and I like to go in prepared, then I feel like a little lost, So that was good to hear that, where the focus should really be.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad that was helpful and just doing it. We all want to know everything and feel like confident, and it will come. I promise.
Yeah.
After 28 years, I'm telling you, you will never know it all anyway.
Yeah.
Every single day, there's a new thing that pops up. Now, there's some things I was like, oh, I've heard that before. Yet I'm always shocked when I hear something new. In fact, this weekend, Steve Smith called me with something, and it was brand new. Nobody had ever done this one thing that he talked to me about, and I was like, huh. So I learned something new this weekend. Awesome. Those were great ahas. Welcome back. Did everybody get refreshed? Right? Get some water, a little more coffee, whatever works for you. So we're going to power through. We're going to get done on time. And I appreciate all of you playing full in. I was watching the interactions a little bit in terms of people who joined and didn't join, and people came back and said, I didn't have a partner, and I reassigned them. So I really appreciate all of you asking questions and being involved. We are going to share our screen and get started. So now comes to some technology. After we get through with this, it's just knowing what tools you have. So when I tell you you've joined the greatest real estate company on the face of the earth, I actually mean it. I have been in other places. This is it. You have got everything you need, and they've got these amazing tools that we're going to go through today. All right, so part of KW is having these tools to help make you successful, right? I'm trying to move this all around. So in the world today, we have giant clouds out there somewhere. Does anybody know that? Like Google is a cloud of information. Well, we have a cloud here, right? And that is command. Who has used command already? Played around a little bit with it?
All my contacts are on there now.
Love that. And that is the goal, right? Is we want to be able to be anywhere. So way back in the dark ages when I started in real estate, I had to be here taking a vacation. I had a pager. There was no cell phone. MLS was just starting to get online. I had books that were like this big, totally different. We're so lucky that we are a virtual agent now, right? We can be anywhere and writing a contract. I will tell you, it's also a downfall. So you have to be really disciplined that you do take time for yourself and that you're not always on, but that's a whole nother class. So thinking about that, you can do it from anywhere, the virtual agent. What we love is that we have the consumer that we can communicate with virtually, right? Through the internet, through our app, we can communicate with them. So there's so many ways, and we can also talk to our market center, right? How many of you have been working from home since you started your career? Right? So not I can only see like 3 of you, but you're working from home a lot, right? And so luckily we can connect with our market center. In the past, we never could have done this. Zoom is amazing that we can actually connect with our whole entire region doing Ignite. Isn't that cool? So we're really lucky. And so we have lots of places, all the data, and we have our Keller Cloud, which has Kelly, which is one of our apps. Does everybody have Kelly downloaded?
Yes.
All right. Does everybody know what Kelly looks like? So let's see. See right there, the blue, light blue? That is Kelly. So if you haven't done that yet, you want to download Kelly. Oh, also, if you haven't done is your KW right here. KW, the white one with the red, you should have that downloaded. Okay, so the 2 things you want to download to make sure you have that. Inside of our amazing technology, we have command, but we also have Keller Mortgage in our app, which offers our consumers a discount. We love Keller Mortgage. And if you don't have anybody, ask agents in your office. Who do you like at Keller Mortgage, right? Keller Covered, which it talks about insurance. We have not rolled out Keller Offers and Keller Manage, so I'm not going to talk about those today. But basically, we want one-stop shopping for you as an agent and for the consumer. Does that make sense? Any questions about this? All right. Why isn't this? There we go. All right, so we are going to do some hands-on learning, my friends. Are you ready?
I just have a quick question. What is Kelly?
So Kelly is an app that is for us as agents. So it's our back end. So I can have my contacts are all here. So everybody I put into command is in Kelly. So if I am sitting somewhere and I want to talk to somebody, I'm going to call them through my Kelly app because it's going to record that interaction in command. That's how they fit together. Brooke and Mike, do I need to say anything? Do you want to add anything about Kelly?
I would just add that Kelly, having Kelly on your phone, where she really shines is as a notifications agent for us. Okay, so if anybody reaches out to your website or through the consumer app and is looking to get a hold of you, Kelly is what's going to give you a notification on your phone, like a pop-up, like you would for a text message. So make sure that you have her downloaded and that you have signed in with your Keller Williams login credentials that you would to log into Command.
Exactly. And then Kelly's also the name of our artificial intelligence that's running on the back end. Yeah, Jill, you can get Kelly from the App Store on an iPhone or the Google Play or Samsung, however you use it on your phone. But it's our AI. It's think Siri, think Alexa. As soon as I said that, they start to go, right? So it's our artificial intelligence to just make Command smarter.
Awesome. All right.
Okay,
So, oh, did somebody have a question?
No, I said thanks.
All right. So agent.kw.com is how I always get into Command. Is there a quicker way or is that the correct way? Okay. Thanks, Brooke. All right. So that it will look like you'll sign in. I'm already obviously, oh, there we go. Sign in right here, right? Put in your KW, your password, and sign in. So I want everybody to watch me. Do not do anything else yet. I know you're all on the second screen now or on another tab trying to log in, but I want you to watch here first, okay? So, ooh, look at it, shiny, right? Isn't this so pretty? So one of the things I'm going to tell you is up here, the little bell. Mike had mentioned that that is our alerts. I will get alerted that I actually did get alerted on Kelly that I had a new registration on my app, right? So up here, if you have a little red, that means you have something you need to look at, some task to do, or a notification from an ad or something like that. So that just wanted to connect the dots from what Mike said. All right, so we're going today we're going to learn how to enter contact. Who has done a contact? If you have, put yes in the chat box. All right, I see it blinking. That's good. So we're going to do it again. We're going to just show for those of you who have not done it yet. So one of the first things I want you to see is look at, I'm clicking on the little red KW. I love that. It tells you everything because honestly, I cannot always remember like where's referrals. So now I can just click the button and I can see what everything means. We're going to go to contacts. Now everybody should be watching me right now. Not doing, we're going to do in a second. We're going to watch Lorna first. Sound like a plan? All right. So we're going to click right here where it says add contact. You're going to click on that. And guess who's going to be your first contact? Any guesses?
Ourselves.
Ourselves. That's right. Now, if you've already put yourself in, put somebody new in, right? But you're going to put your name in. I always do my personal email and my phone number. There's 4 pieces of data that you absolutely need. Well, actually, they're not all required, but I'm telling you, you need them. What are they?
Name, well, first, last name, phone number, email, and then if you could possibly get their address, because a lot of people are kind of skeptical about that, but if you can get their address, that'll be key.
Huge. You really want their address, right? And as you're making these calls and you're having these forward conversations, it's not a bad thing to say, gosh, Mike, you know, I was looking and I actually don't have your address. Would you mind sharing that with me? Right?
Sure.
Thanks, Mike. So thinking about putting your address in, that is, so you saw my name, email, phone number, then add more information, an additional contact information, and you are going to put your address in. You're all going to know where I live now. So I'll take a card anytime you feel like sending me one. And it's click right there. It popped right up. Woohoo. Okay. So now you're going to click on create. I'm already in here, so it will not let me create myself again.
Lorna, Carlos has a question.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just curious, for the address, is that mainly for like mailing, or is it for like if you're curious as like you have a seller or a buyer looking for something in this area, then you know their address?
Great question. So there's lots of reasons. Yes, yes, and yes, right? So one is to mail things to them. One is because and I don't want to overwhelm you, but I'm just going to mention it. If you know where they live, you can keep them updated on what's happening in their market. So my neighborhood pops up here and it shows things that are for sale, right? So you could actually send them updates. You can see I send myself bi-weekly updates to see what's happening in my neighborhood. Do you want to see what they'll receive? Are you curious? Come on, tell me. Are you curious?
Yeah.
All right. Yes. All right. So this is what it looks like. I'm previewing. I hit preview on that. And this is what they get. They get everything that's on the market in the neighborhood. So I have a couple neighborhoods, right? So I see, is there anything for sale? So they can click on it and then they can start looking around. They can look at the pictures. That house has been on for a while. There's still snow there. Note to yourself, when the weather changes, your pictures need to change in MLS, just as a side note. You can schedule a tour, right? There's lots that you can do commuting. So there's tons of stuff they'll see. So the reason that we ask you guys to put yourself in first is because I want you to play with this. You see, I send myself that, right? I want to see what the consumer is going to get. And I want to play with it all. I want to ask myself for an appointment, right? So you got to play with all of it. So it's called a smart plan. We're not going into that today, but just so you know, that's why it's important to have address.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have any questions? All right.
Yeah, Lorna, I was just wondering about the same thing with the address. I haven't had much luck. I've actually asked a few people to give me the physical home addresses and they did not respond. Is there any certain way to request for that without kind of like coming off as too invasive, I guess? I mean, it's a lot easier for people to give you the email and their phone number, but home address, I'm kind of leery about asking for that. And, mention that you're going to send them stuff. Yeah, that's, for me, at least that would be a no-no usually if an agent's going to tell me they're doing that. So is there any certain good way, kind of like subtle way to try to get that without being too pushy on that?
There is. So are you calling people or emailing or texting?
The ones that I did try were mainly texting. I had talked to them before, but I didn't bring that up. But then I did text them.
So if you didn't get it on the first run, right, when you were talking to them, you should be talking to people, like talking to people every 90 days. Yeah. So bring it up for the next time, right? Okay. Or a quick text to say, I realized I didn't get your address and we have this really cool neighborhood updates I'd love to send you.
Okay.
Right? And they don't know if you're going to mail it or you're actually emailing it, but you need to know it, right? So
yeah,
also,
and I was just looking, especially when they're not in the market, they're not looking, they're not selling or anything. So, they're a little more hesitant, I guess, to do that unless if they're in the market, yeah, then it would make sense. But
I would challenge your thinking on this a little bit, Andrew, to say that everybody's always curious what's happening in real estate. I know it seems crazy, but the sign goes up at the neighbor's house. They want to know what it's on the market for, right? They want to know all the information, which is why our app is so important because it has the location on it. You can see any pass by sign, you can see where it is, what it's all about. And the same thing for these neighborhood updates. It's just keeping them posted, because all of a sudden someone is not in the market, but they notice that the house next door, which isn't as nice as their house, of course, sold for $450,000. They bought their house for 200 like 15 years ago. Wait a minute. The neighbor just sold their house for 450. I could get 450. I'd sell if I could get 450, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we have to just, again, and you might not get it right away, right? But turning our thinking around to like, this is going to be valuable real estate information versus we're bugging them. And then if they hesitate, just say, I promise I'm not going to send a bunch of mail to your house, but I am going to maybe send you some valuable real estate information twice a year. Would that be okay?
Okay.
Hey, Lorna. Hey, Lorna.
Yes, Steve.
Database. I'm going to be sending out some holiday cards this year. Would it be okay if I sent you one?
Oh, I love getting your holiday card, Steve. Yes, please make sure. I did move since the last time we talked.
Fantastic. I don't have your current address. Would you mind sharing it with me?
Sure, everybody knows it now. 39 Shady Lane Ave, Northborough, Mass.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, it does.
I saw Mike raise his hand too.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if they are a homeowner, you could also go onto MLS for public record and look them up, and you could find their mailing address there. Make sure you just don't go by the property address, because they might be receiving their mail at a post office box or another location.
Okay, good to know.
Can I offer a suggestion on that too? Sometimes they don't have the objection that you're anticipating them having. Sometimes we build up the objection in our head when it's not there. You're actually now placing that objection in their head. I just go in, assume they're lucky to be able to talk to me. I'm going to send you some great stuff from time to time. What's your address? I really don't even use words like ask. I assume that they should want to give it to me. And if you've spent a little bit of time on the phone in a friendly relationship building manner, then that's an easy follow-up. Like, great, what's your address so I can keep in touch with you? Don't assume it's an objection before it is one.
Yeah, the specific people I was talking about were not really friends. These are people I just met them. So we're not like real acquaintances. So we didn't have that kind of natural, flow thing going. But yeah, if it's somebody that you do know already, yeah, it's a lot easier, obviously. But yeah, they just didn't respond, and I did see them after that, and I didn't bring that whole subject up again. So
yeah, keep working at it.
Yep.
Right. I mean, if it's someone you just met and it may take a little bit longer, it may not. It just depends. So again, we have to just keep learning and keep asking questions.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. I thought Brent had a question. No. Okay. You
That's okay. It kind of got answered.
It
Thank
happens. Okay. Anyone else? All right. So
I have a quick question.
of course, Nick.
It might be off topic, but I'm just catching up because I had an appointment, so I had to jump off real quick. But how often does the average person move?
It used to be every 5 to 7 years. It's gone up to 8 to 10.
And they move 11 times throughout their lifetime, right?
Roughly.
Apparently.
Hopefully. It depends, but that's why the average has gone up, right? In the time that they move instead of 8 to 10.
So 8 to 10.
Yeah, on my Facebook, I said 11 and there are people saying 23. But that's a little out of it. But, there was a lot of 10s and 15s.
And then
But that's in 1 year?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Not 1 year, right? No, one lifetime. Not 1 year, your whole life.
So 11 times throughout their lifetime, the average person moves. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you for sharing. All right. So next, we're going to go to page 11 in your participant guide. All right. And share my screen again. And we have an activity to do. Now, it says to do it alone, but we're going to do it together. Okay, everyone? Tell me, raise your hand, unmute, say, I got it, I got it, I got it. So I know. I see a thumbs up. I saw one thumb. I only see 3 of you, so it definitely gets challenging for me. That's why I have to unmute. Everybody got their participant guide or a piece of paper? All right, here we go. Remember how I said you can click on this little button right here? We're going to write down what all of these buttons are. So the little house button, the little person, contacts, the little checklist, tasks. I don't really know what that is, but it's a smart plan. Referrals, definitely write that down. Opportunities, the handshake. Campaigns. I can't even do that's what that is. Campaigns. Reports. I love this. It's my favorite part because of being a productivity coach. Designs. Lots of shiny, pretty things to do there. Listings. And then consumer. I'm going to leave this up for a second. Make sure you write that all down. You guys good? Let me know when you're done.
There's one more picture on the bottom of page 11 that's not pictured on the computer.
You are right. It's the map. It's the refer. I think that's what the refer.
It was there was insights, Lorna.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Well, there's I'm sorry. No, that is referrals. You're right. That's referrals.
No, because it has referrals on there.
Sorry.
It's the 2 at the bottom.
Totally getting everybody screwed up. Yeah, this the second one from the
There's a
bottom used to be insights.
Okay, we don't have that anymore.
No.
Scratch it out. All right.
And the one below that, we can also scratch.
Okay. All right, you guys good? Everybody ready? It's important, not urgent, but it's important to understand command, right? You need to understand it. The most important thing I want to tell you, guess what it's going to be? Database. Put people in command. Get them in here. Everybody who's here needs to be in command. We want everybody in there. One-stop shopping. We're going to continue on with our PowerPoint. If you guys are good. I've lost you all. Hold on. Okay. There we go. Any questions on commands? Every day you should be in command. This is going to be where you run your business from. The app, we already talked about it, right? Starting with your sphere. There we go. All right, so I wanted to share with you the Ignite Toolkit. Mike, did you receive that to put in the chat?
It should be under the student materials.
Okay, so there is job aids, there's buyer lead sheets. You need this Ignite Toolkit. So make sure, I would challenge you all, I'm a paper person, print it out. It's really helpful, but it's going to have everything you need as we talk through Ignite every day, right? So when we start talking about buyers, you'll need this. Before you go on a listing, you'll need this. So for those of you who are looking to kind of, absorb as much information as possible, as quickly as possible, this is a great tool. So make sure you're downloading this. Do you guys have any questions about it? And it's also where your scripts are. Super important.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
So like, let's say right now I'm on my phone driving, so I can't download that. Is there somewhere we can download that online, or it can get emailed to us, or?
Yep, so if you registered, I'm pretty sure Brooke sent a link for it. And also it's on our Facebook page for Ignite 2.0. So all of you, if you're not a member of our Ignite 2.0, you definitely want to do that. And all of this is there.
So that's the name of the Facebook page, Ignite 2.0?
You know what?
It's KWNE. Ignite is where you can do your search, and that'll bring it up.
If you got the email for this, for like
Thank
this
you.
activity, I'm pretty sure there's like a link to go straight to the Facebook group. If you got like the post-it thing in your email for it.
Yeah, once you registered, you should have gotten an email yesterday from Jen Bovey or Brooke. I'm not sure which one it came from, but it would have the link for the Facebook page as well as a link for the materials. Great question. And I'm impressed that you're listening while you're driving. Just make sure to be safe. All
Yeah,
right.
and I'm driving on the Jamaica way, so it's a double challenge.
Oh my goodness, pay attention. All right, so we're going to get you prepared for success, right? So we talked about, and I think someone asked, what was the different classes? So fuel your career, right? That's what we're in today. Lead generation, and I bet you're not surprised. That's the next class that you're going to be talking about. Powerful language, talking scripts, my friends. Your database, how to utilize your database. Setting goals, one of my all-time favorites. Delivering your value proposition. I heard Steve Smith say something about that sooner. So we're going to dig deep and be able for all of you to articulate at a high level your value proposition. Find and win buyer. Find seller leads. A day in the life of a real estate agent. Then once you get the basics, we jump into elementals, and that is prospecting, marketing, open houses, seller appointments, buyer consultations. These are also two of my favorites. Make and receive offers, negotiate. Negotiations huge. Financial basics and contract to close. So that's, I have an accepted offer all the way to closing. What does that look like? So with all of it, you can see you are going to have so much knowledge. You're going to be rocking it. Does anybody have
I'm
any
sorry,
questions?
where is that under? So sorry.
What do you mean, where is it under?
The elements of learning, do we have that in here on a command?
It is in the Facebook page. So it is
Oh,
part of
okay.
it tonight.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. So any questions about what's coming up? All right. Now we're on to our daily habits. So I'm trying to see if you guys have it. You don't have it.
I got it.
So your daily 10-4, Mike is going to put it in the chat. This is your homework every day, right? Every week, actually. We call it our daily 10-4. And it's what we started to talk about at the beginning. You need to talk to people and lead generate every day, right? So our goal is 10 contacts a day to your database. So we're going to prospect by calling people. Then we're going to put them into our database. Then we're going to write notes. Another answer to why we need addresses. Then we're going to get to know our market by previewing 10 homes a week. Daily 10-4, my friends. So Mike, you just put that in there, right? So
Yep.
I wanted to go over that really quick. Thank you for sharing that, Mike. All right, why isn't it popping up? Link is not working. That's weird.
I'm gonna
So-
double check it real quick.
Double click it. All right, well, while we work on that, I want to talk about why the daily 10-4, right? Why do you think that KW created the daily 10-4?
To help quantify
So you're
something.
not scratching your head in the office or at home, figuring out what to do.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's hard to quantify like what you need to do, how often, and like regulate yourself. Self-regulation when you have your own business is a big deal.
It is, isn't it? That is a great way to say it, Olivia. Thinking about how to make sure that you're doing the most important activities every single day, right? And what they've also found is that by building your database as quickly as possible gets you into production quickly. And I know when I asked this question earlier, I said, who wants to be in production within the 30 days? Everyone was like, yeah, me, right? That's how you do it. So Mike, thank you for sharing your screen. So you can see here, just fill out your email address and then choose your office from the drop-down menu. So make sure you can find your office. Is there, Mike, can you scroll down? Is there like an other? There we go. So if you are not officially from KW yet, you can just hit the other. How many contacts? How many handwritten notes? How many appointments did you set? Right? How many contracts? How many under contract, meaning that your buyer or seller found a property? How many people did you speak to in your database? And how many homes did you preview? Thank you, Mike. So thinking about, this is the most important piece right here, my friends. This will get you into production quickly. Does 10 people a day sound like a lot of people?
No.
Talk to me.
I actually had a question before we continue. That link that he just shared, are we supposed to like fill that out for now, or are we supposed to fill it out before we meet next week?
We should be filling it out. I would say you should fill it out daily just so you keep track, but if not, at minimum weekly.
Okay.
Right? I find daily is easier because unless I'm writing it down somewhere, I don't remember how many people I talked to yesterday. Right? Never mind last week. So daily habit, right? If you daily do it, which means at the end of the day, because guess what? The end of Ignite today is not the end of your day in real estate. It's the beginning, right? You need to start making phone calls, my friends, writing your notes, putting people in command. That is your job. Talk to as many people as you can every day. So that 10 number, I saw a lot of people say, oh, that sounds like a lot. And if it does, that's okay. But guess what? Start with one. Just start with one. Because I know sometimes when I have like exercise to do or something like that, and I'm training for a half Ironman, in case anybody wants to cheer me on in June. And so I get this training schedule and it says 3 hours of bike riding. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do 3 hours of bike riding. Yet if I just do if I start slowly, which is what I started a year ago, I did a half hour, then I did 45 minutes. Now I'm up to 3 hours. Next week is 4 hours. I built it up, right? But if she had put my very first day, do 4 hours, I probably would have had a heart attack and quit right there and then. So now she started slow. If for you, 10 seems like that's way too much, forget it, I'm done, I'm out. Then start with one, just one, right?
We have one question.
Go, we have a question. Go ahead.
So where do we get that link for our 10 for us to keep track of our clients?
Mike put it in.
It's right in the chat.
Oh, it's in the chat. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It says daily 10-4 with a link underneath it.
Right. So we already talked about why it's important to preview houses. So I'm not going to go over that again. But the database piece, start with one. If 10 is like shutting you down, start with one. And guess what? Once you make one call and you call somebody like Steve Smith, who's so nice, and then I'm like, oh, that felt good. I'm going to do another one. I do this on my running. I run. I'm like, I'm going to run till I hit that driveway. And then I was like, oh, I feel pretty good. I'm going to run till I hit the street. Okay, I still feel good. I'm going to run a little more. And eventually I get tired. But I keep just, instead of going down on my walk, I run. Same for you guys, right? Do you want to walk? That's fine. Do you want to run? That's okay too. Just do it.
No, start with an agent in your office. Start with your mom. Start with your wife or your sibling. Start with anyone. Just start and have the conversation. And as you do it consistently, it's like anything, right? Playing sports, riding a bike. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll become. And scripts, when you get to that, are going to help to facilitate that, right? You'll know what to say. You'll have basis for conversations with people. But like Lorna said, when I first started this, I'm going to be really quite honest here and transparent. I do not like to cold call. I do not like to make phone calls at all. So I started doing what Lorna said. I called one person, and then the next day I said, I'm going to call 2 people, and then I'm going to call 3 people. And then as you build upon that, it becomes easier and easier. And, you know, just like anything, your conversation becomes much more natural and will flow a lot better. And take real estate out of your brain. You know, take the idea that you're a salesperson out of your brain. Just put it out there like you're connecting and you're trying to make a connection with another person, and the real estate will come.
I saw a deep breath there from a few people like, okay, all right.
And if all else fails, go get a job, like a part-time job as a third-party debt collector. You won't have any problems calling anybody anymore after that. Yeah, you get a guaranteed paycheck at the end of that day.
That's so funny.
Hey, Lorna, I got to jump on my coaching call, but for everybody that's out there, I put my information in the chat. Call me, email me. You want to get together with coffee? I'm available anytime that you'd like. So thank you for having me, Lorna, and good luck to everybody.
Thanks for joining us, Steve.
Thank you,
I got a
Steve.
quick question.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody here is into command yet or what the deal is, but I figured since I'm already here, I might as well throw it out there. So neighborhood snaps, like I like to use Niche, the website, to figure out like neighborhood ratings, neighborhood reviews. Does anybody have any like good like KW resources for that, or is there like a widget for that that I can use? Because I have some buyers that are interested right now, and they're like a young family, and they're like really looking into like, you know, they're gonna buy this house and like settle down, like their kids are gonna grow up there, so they're trying to like rate different places. Has anybody run into that yet?
You want to jump in, Lorna?
Yes, please do.
So I think it's always very important to make sure that you are giving a reference to those resources and not actually delivering the resources themselves. So the fact that you're using like niche.com, that's great. If you're looking for one for schools and things like that, Pitney Bowes is another one that posts that type of information. It's whatever one you feel comfortable with. The ones that are attached to the KW agent sites come from Pitney Bowes for the school information.
How do you spell
Go ahead.
How do you spell it?
Pitney Bowes.
PIT.
Yeah, I'll put a link for it in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, just give me a second to get it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep. But like I said, just make sure that you're referencing sources and not necessarily giving them the information directly. And
Yeah, absolutely. I set up a collab center for them, and they're loving it. And I just didn't know if there was a way to like streamline and collaborate with the collab center. That other.
yeah, so you can collaborate within the app if you add yourself as a collaborator along with your clients.
Mhm.
We won't get into that in this session, but there's some great resources on answers.kw.com where you can find a whole bunch of little training. But you can definitely collaborate from within the app right now, and that platform will just keep getting better.
And within the app, there's stuff that'll review different neighborhoods and stuff.
Correct. Yep. You can actually, it's a mobile search.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. All right. So making the most of Spark, right? So divide the rest of your day between growing and running your business. So remember that first thing that we saw with the run your business and grow. Growing, calling people, running, maybe that's starting in command, right? By adding yourself as a contact and sending yourself a neighborhood nurture, or just click around, right? Yet it's like Facebook or the internet in general. You can go down a rabbit hole and be on there for hours. So I would tell you, set an alarm. I'm going to learn command for a half hour today, and then move forward with something else. Does that make sense? All right, so guess what now is? Now is the time where we are all going to lead generate together. So since it is day one, I'm not going to scare you too much. Do not leave me. I'm just telling you all right now. Do not like say end and leave. Stay with me on this. I want you, just like Steve said, call. I want you to start with a family member. It can be your best friend. It could be your mother, your father, your significant other, your child, whoever it is. I want you to get on the phone and make one call using the Ford script. And now listen, that means you actually have to talk to somebody. Okay, that means talking. So if I dial and Mike doesn't pick up, I'm going to call Susan. And if Susan doesn't pick up, I'm going to call Laura. I'm going to keep trying until I talk to one person. And my goal is to check in and see how they're doing. Get their, well, you know their name, you're calling them. You obviously know your phone number because you're calling them. Get their email and or their physical mailing address. How do you feel about that?
I feel like I'm gonna wait till later today.
Oh, no. Right, this is the time, my friends, this is the time. So we're gonna stay on together. Do not shut your picture off. And you want to mute yourself, which most of you are muted. I want you to pick up your phone. Oh, wait a minute. First of all, stand up. Everyone stand up. Up, everybody up. Ready? So I already see that Megan's exercising. So we don't need to do everything she's doing, but we can do this, right? We're gonna do a little twisting, a little arms in the air, right? Clap 5 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want you to say to yourself, I am amazing. Right now, you have to say it for real. Ready? Thumbs like this. Point at yourself. I am amazing. All right, now you can all sit down. That was actually really fun to watch y'all. All right, so we got some energy going here. Now pick up the phone, get excited, make a call, and once you've talked to somebody, I want you to put the little clapping reaction in your screen so I know you are done. One call, my friends. You can all do it. I know it. Go to it. Moms are usually really nice. Nope, you're calling your family member, a friend, Kim. You're going to call someone and talk with the Ford script. Ask them about their family. Ask them how they're doing. Don't forget to do the hand raise once you've done it, or the clapping hand. Let me know you're finished. Are you all done, Nancy? So right on the bottom where it says reactions, you can click on the reaction if you are done. Nice, Beth. All right, Julie. Victoria. Ooh, how do I pronounce your name? I don't want to say it wrong. Don't even try. Is that what you're telling me? You got it done. Chuck. Laura. All right, everybody. Starting to see some hands. Pamela, Brooke, Maz. I think I saw Drew. Lindsay. All right, I'm going to start talking for those of you who have finished. And if you have finished, I want you to unmute and tell me how it went. How'd it go, Brent?
It went great.
Tell me about it.
I talked to an old friend. I moved back here from California. And I haven't seen him since I've been back, but he's really close. I mean, we keep in touch for sure, but you know, he was considering leaving Boston at one point. So I just wanted to check in. I mean, it was kind of funny. I was like going through the steps where like he knew what I was doing. But yeah, he actually, I found out he got a new job, and he's still enjoying dating the girl he's with.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I just went through everything. It went well. I asked him, I told him too, I was like, yeah, if you have any friends and family. And I mean, again, he knew what I was doing, but it was fun. And he knows to like put out feelers for me in New Hampshire.
That's awesome.
It went great though. And it was nice to talk to him.
Exactly, right? It's fun. And
Right.
so I would encourage you to, when you add him into command, right, in the notes section, make sure that you note that you talked to him, that this is the new job that just happened. And when you send him a personal note, like a handwritten, like, awesome to talk to you, look forward to, you know, catching up and having a drink soon or whatever. Congratulations on the new job, right? So the notes in command, I can show you all how to do that if you want, but that is a great place to just be able to remember what you talked about. Mike, did you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I just want to say, if you add an activity, then you can put it, whether it was a phone call, an in-person meeting, or maybe a quick note, or even a text message. So use the activity button, which is the little blue plus sign, which is on the contact record.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else share with me? I want to hear how it went.
I called my cousin. It went really well. We haven't talked in a while, and she was telling me about her mom, and she was telling me about how she's working at this hospital for 2 years now, and she's working a lot of hours, and that she's also going to be graduating college soon as well. So.
Oh, that's fun. So did you just say she's a nurse, or she's becoming a nurse?
She works with kids at this hospital in St. Elms or Elsom. I don't know how to say it. So.
Oh. I think everybody in the medical field is amazing especially after this last year. So good for them. That's awesome. And you learned something like that you didn't know, right?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna give her another call later on because she was kind of busy, but we're gonna talk later on.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right, I need to hear one more. Who's gonna share?
Hey, it's Drew here.
Hi, Drew.
Drew Nealon. I called my cousin Susan over in, she lives in Needham, and talked to her a little bit about my new career. The good news is she's the family gossip. Bad news is she's a family gossip. So all my relatives on that side of the family will know that I'm into real estate now. So that's kind of good.
That is the good news. That's right. That's awesome. That's the person you want to keep in touch with. I have a friend like that, and all you need to do is go, hey, what's going on with so-and-so? He knows everything. So that's good. All right. That's awesome. So the good news is this. I see none of you passed out. You're all still okay. You survived, right? Can you do it again?
No, yes, I can definitely do it again.
So we can do this. Mike, are you getting twice? Why is that happening? I can't figure it out.
We're good now?
Okay, no, not now. That was weird. Okay, so I'm really proud of all of you. You all jumped right in and you did it. So we're going to practice. Now, this is going to be a little longer, 10 minutes. I don't know if we practiced 10 minutes last time. You're going to get a new group of people and you are going to practice that Ford script. You guys are going to know this inside and out. Are you ready to meet a new referral partner? All right, I see everyone's so excited. So I'm going to recreate. Let's see, we're going to go down to 28. All right, there's new recreate. Ready? 10 minutes, and then we're going to maybe finish up a few minutes early. Wouldn't that be awesome? All right, I'm opening the rooms. Have fun. Practice the Ford script. Get to know each other.
I think you have an odd number. I left myself out of 25.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, nobody in 25. We're going to move them to 23. And
I was by myself.
what room were you in, Victoria?
I don't know, but I was by myself.
All right, well, we're going to move you.
All right.
To
28 and 26. Yep, there you go.
Bye, Sue. Let's see. Kristen, did you get in a room? Oh, you're muted. Nancy, what room were you in?
I tried to join, but it wouldn't let me.
Okay, do you know what room it was?
No.
Let's see. I see. I'm gonna move you. Try again.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, Kristen, did you try to get in?
But I was the only one there.
What room was it? 16?
15.
15. All right, I'm moving you to 16.
Okay.
There you go.
Got it. Thank
Andrew, what room were you in?
I was in 17, but I'm still on the phone with one of my clients.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, hop back in.
Okay. Well,
Let's see, trying to see. I think if they don't see their face, I don't try to, that means they're probably not able to be in a room.
Yeah, I think you're good.
I don't think anybody else is alone.
No, no one solo.
Okay, good. Welcome back. Everybody's coming back. I would love to start to share, like, what'd you learn? Did you meet somebody new or did you end up with the same person?
I met someone new. Her name is Amy.
And where was she from, Anthony?
Sorry, my microphone went off, but she's actually from Lowell, and I actually found out that we actually are from the same office. She just signed last week on Thursday, so she's like brand new to the agency. She actually has 3 kids, and she was a full-time stay-at-home mom, but now that they're actually going back to school, because she actually wants to start doing real estate. She actually knows an agent that works here, and she actually recruited her to join the team. So yeah, that's what I learned.
So you met somebody in your own market center. That's awesome. Now, what market center are you from?
I'm from the Andover one, Keller Williams Success Realty.
Okay, awesome. All right, was that fun? You met new people, everyone? Awesome. So every day they're going to be doing breakout rooms. You're going to meet new people. You're going to script practice. I will tell you, one of the most important thing is maybe someone you met today, that's your new script partner. And they're going to talk about this more when they talk about scripts on day 3, I believe. But I cannot encourage you enough. Just every single day. It doesn't have to be hours and hours, 10 minutes. Just practice the script. How's it going? Awesome. We'll see you tomorrow. Practice the script. Practice the script. Call people. Practice the script. Call people. Practice the script. You hear a theme here? Call people, right? Practice the script. You guys know what you need to do. So I want you to think about, what does your day look like? And every day after Ignite, what's your plan? Right? Your plan needs to be is to do the daily 10-4. And again, start with 1. And some of you already made your 1 call already, right? Make sure you're putting them into command. Make sure that you're sending them a note. So they can be any sort of note, like just a little note card, blank inside. You could get pre-made ones, like I have Keller Williams ones that I had made. They fold right in half. I can just say, hey, great to talk to you, blah, 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 whatever, right? Do a follow-up. You need to follow up just to continue the conversation. And guess what? What do you get in the mail every day?
The newspaper.
Amazon.
Deals and junk.
Exactly. Bills, junk, Amazon. It's so fun. Like, my favorite time of year is holidays because I love getting cards. I'm such a big baby. I love it. So it's fun, right? Junk mail, like, it's brutal. The mail is so boring and not fun. Make it fun. Send a note. It means something. That old-fashioned little thing that you do is going to set you apart from somebody else. I guarantee it. All right. So I have a couple things left. Are you ready? All right. First thing is I need 3 ahas from the whole entire day. So I want somebody who has not spoken to give me an aha. Brent, I saw that. I've already talked today. All right, who's going first?
I'll go. So for me, at the beginning of the morning, I can't remember the girl's name, but mentioned about just going to open house. So, every day, you get the emails about open house. And I was like, well, can I actually go to an open house? I didn't know that. So now I could have went to 5, 6, 7 of them this past weekend. What I do constantly is drive the neighborhood. So this Saturday I drove 250 miles and I just drove through neighborhoods that, I'm not familiar with, but I found a great neighborhood, 3 miles from me that I didn't even know. I just started going up roads and I went home. There was a house for sale up there. I went home and looked at it on the MLS and come to find out all the homes on this road are 3,000 square feet or more. And it's a beautiful neighborhood. So I'm just trying to get their ideas, how, start a campaign. Someone's going to want to sell their house because this house is listed for $600,000. If someone's got a lot of equity, they might be tempted to, say, hey, maybe I want to list my house. So it's for me, going to the open houses and just driving constantly, learning your market for me is it's been very helpful. So
Awesome. And now you know the open houses, so you'll be going in them, not just driving around them. I love that you did that. I mean, getting to know the neighborhood. Isn't it funny when you live somewhere, you kind of think like, oh, I know the whole town. And then when you start driving around, you're like, I actually don't know the whole town. It's awesome. Great aha. Who else?
So I liked that, Laura, that you gave a percentage. So if you take 6% of however many contacts you have, and if you use that as a motivator to say, oh, well, 6%, whatever that might be, maybe that's of 1,000. Oh, so that's 60 houses you might sell, or of 100. So that's 6, right? That's that's a big number. Right. And to multiply that then by whatever you think you're going to sell in what market, you know what I mean, right? To figure out how much you might make in a year. I think that's a good goal. Put that out in front of you. Get your personal contacts built up.
I love that. That's a great aha as well. And I love that you wrapped it into when you start goal setting in Command or with your productivity coach. Now you kind of have a number that you can gauge from, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Brian.
Sure.
All right, we have one more.
Hi. I would say one of the things that I really it helped to resonate with me is looking at my list of contacts and kind of thinking about what life events do they have coming up. I know each time that I have bought and sold a house, it was really due to a life event. It was, getting married, it was having a baby, it was having a second baby. So just kind of looking at, when somebody announces an engagement, really, having that dialogue of that you're just so excited for them and, all these different changes they might have, and just really putting the bug out there that, hey, if you guys, are thinking about getting a bigger home, I hope you'll keep me in mind. So just, I thought that was a big aha, an easy way to reach out to people for different life events.
Exactly. The life event piece is perfect. And I love it. And it just starts the conversation. It's
absolutely.
All right. So even if real estate doesn't get brought up at that time,
right,
it will. Right? As you know, with life events, as you need a bigger house, it doesn't always occur to you. I have a young, I shouldn't say young, but a friend who is just had her first baby, and the look on her husband's face at the baby shower. They had a studio apartment in Manhattan, and he's looking around at all the plastic going, where's this going? They're moving next week in New York. So it's true. Life events definitely push that. I love that I think this is a great group. You have all played full in. Thank you for showing me your smiling faces. Oh, and I have somebody playing in the background, Olivia. Thank you for sharing. Look at that smiley face. Tomorrow, you're going to have an amazing day. I have one last thing to ask you. Actually, I have two things, but one thing first. Can you all get your phone and type in Safari or whatever you do for your internet, kwwu.eval.com. It is a course evaluation. And we can walk it through together, but it is an evaluation of how today went for you. So if you don't mind clicking on, the name of this course was Ignite 2.0 Session 1. Your favorite and best instructor, Lorna Helms, no, I'm just kidding. Lorna Helms is the name of the instructor. I am in the drop-down menu. Isn't that great, Mike? And then it's a regional event, in case it does ask you if it's a regional event. And just go through and take a second and give me an evaluation.
Did you say it's KW eval?
KWUeval.com. So it will look like KW. Looks like this on the screen. It's a regional event.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate you all taking the time. Ignite session 1.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part. Market center, which event type? What was the event type?
It's a regional event.
A regional, okay.
And if it asks you for your market center number, you just put in your market center number. But if it's a regional, it usually doesn't. All right. Thank you all for taking the time to do that. Who's going to be here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock? Love that. And I'm going to stay on for a few minutes to answer any questions. If you guys had something. Oh, Johnzia has her hand raised. Does that mean you're just coming tomorrow?
So the name of the course, Ignite 20, right? Just to make sure.
Yep, Night 20, session 1.
Did we have a, I thought, was it Steve? Do we have a
Co-instructor?
Yeah.
I guess he could be a co-instructor, or Mike.
I'll take it.
Yeah, if you want to put in Mike Mcpherson.
Mike's saying a lot of stuff.
He
I
might not
couldn't find Mike.
Get it, Mike.
He won't be on the drop-down menu, but you can click on Other and then type his name in.
I don't see an other section for the co-instructor's name on
It says
my.
instructor, not in drop down, and it's at the very
Okay.
bottom.
Thank you. All right, everybody. For those of you who have finished, thank you for coming today and hanging out with me, Mike, and Steve. I am, like I said, going to stay on for a few minutes to answer any additional questions. Go make those calls. You guys are going to crush it. I can't wait to see you at the next class I teach and hear how things are going. So thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks, Lorna.
Thanks, Lorna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Lorna.
Bye. You're welcome. Thank you.
Lorna, I had a
great
quick
day.
question.
Sure, Hallie.
So in the Ford script, it talks like when it gets to like the paragraph part, it talks about giving people our Keller Williams app.
Mhm.
How do we share that? Like, what's my app that I can give them?
Okay, so
So when you and I meet this week,
Yeah, we do have a meeting. I have a meeting with like
Well-
5 different people this week.
no, we'll go all over that and make sure you're all set.
Okay, perfect. And then also I have a question because I don't have any of my MLS information. Where do I go for that?
so I would, oh, you're in New Hampshire, huh? Let me check in with Amanda and find out about that for you, Hallie.
Okay, yeah, they said they were getting it up, but then I never received any information on what my, like, what website to use or my username and password and stuff. So I just didn't know.
Usually with
And
most
then-
MLSs, you need to pay them and then they'll send you the stuff you need.
Yeah, so I paid all my dues.
Okay.
So everything's
So
all
it should
set.
take a day or so. MLSs aren't as quick as KW.
Okay. And then maybe Mike will go over this when we have our meeting. Will you explain the difference between command and connect or if they're the same thing? And like, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of my questions are like tech questions. And then Lorna, I just wanted to say for the class today, I'm like so quiet when it comes to meeting new people. So like it's really hard for me to talk when everyone's here. But when it's just one-on-one, I can talk my brain away. So no, I really liked that we were we were like set into different groups because for me to see everybody, it's very daunting to like try and meet new people when like I feel like a lot of them have been here, but really everyone that I talked to was just as new as I was. So that was a lot, very nice. And then also I had printed out a lot of these papers prior to class because I started doing Ignite a little bit before we started this class.
And the scripts were so scary to me. I was just like, how am I going to remember to say all of this? But then being put into those little groups and like talking, it's really just like someone had said it earlier. I don't know if it was Mike or someone else had said that it's just like having a normal conversation and just throw in the fact that you are in real estate somewhere. And like, it comes naturally because it's your job now. So it's just like when people say like, oh, what are you doing for work? It's like, oh, okay, great segue. By the way, if you're selling a house or you need a house. But yeah, I think that's it for today.
That's awesome. And I'm glad that it got you out of your comfort zone by being in the breakout rooms. It's
Yeah.
a great first step. So next first step, call somebody in your family and let them know what's going on.
Right. Thank you.
I can't wait for our meeting, Hallie.
Bye.
Bye. Does anybody have any questions or anything I can answer for you? Anything that's felt uncomfortable or you're not sure about?
I wanted to thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Yes, also on Wednesday, I signed up for a 3-hour core class. So I won't be able to attend on Wednesday. It's from 9 to 12.
It was like for your MLS or your board or something?
Yes, yep.
Yep, that's fine. So I would say to you is that check the Facebook page out and watch the recording from that day.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
later
it's from
on.
9 to 12, the same hours.
Yeah, so try later on in the day, maybe, you know, just jump in and hear like what they talked about.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
Hi, Lorna.
Hi, Grace.
Hi, I actually started last Friday, and this is my first class, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed with all the information. And I know it's going to be great, and eventually it's all going to click. But is this typical that people that start, you know, like the first couple classes is just too much information? Am I trying to take on too much? What are your suggestions? Like, should I just join the classes and see how it goes? And
So I would say I understand that feeling of like, oh my gosh, there's so much information. Just absorb what you can, interact as much as you can, and just, you know, again, just start by letting people that you're friends and family with that you're in real estate. All
Okay.
of it will fit and line up and make sense. But that first week, and Mike, maybe you could speak to this because I've been here for 7 years now, but how it feels.
Yeah, so literally it's like drinking from a fire hose, really, the first, couple of weeks that you're in. Are you a brand new agent, Grace?
yes, I am.
Yeah. So literally just absorb the classes as best you can and really concentrate on getting your contacts into the database and just calling people and let them know what you're doing. If you start with that as your foundation, the rest of the pieces will fall into place as you need them.
Okay, so I still need like support to set up, you know, my system. And when you talked about, you know, getting on the app that we should all be on, I haven't got that started. I do have a coach assigned to me, which I'm going to set up a meeting this week. So I'm hoping that things will click.
Great. And which market center are you in?
I'm in Wells, Maine.
In Wells, Maine. Okay, so you're so Tiffany is your productivity coach?
Brittany.
She does have other coaches that work.
Yep, she has some coaches that work with her. Yeah, but the main one is Tiffany, and she's also your market center technology trainer.
Okay.
Okay, she's out of the Portland office, but she's super accessible.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's any part of the technology that you might be a little challenged with, reach out to her and she'll be more than happy to help you.
Okay. I am meeting with Brittany, and I'm also meeting with Karen Hamilton, who's going to be my coach. And
awesome.
And hopefully I love face-to-face, you know, old school type of thing.
No, that's great. You're in a great market center, so have full faith that they're there to support you.
It will all come.
You guys did a great job, very patient, perfect people for this job.
No,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day. It will come together, I promise.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Thank you so much. You did great teacher.
Oh, thank
I can
you.
see. As just a couple things, there's two things there's the workbook that we're supposed to be downloading and working off of. Are the pages that you're sharing from that, or
Somewhat.
somewhat? Okay.
The slides don't perfectly match because there's not a page for every slide I have,
Okay,
so we're talking about a lot of stuff, but when I want you to like write things down, that's where the workbook really comes in. So
okay,
the workbook's really for taking notes and hitting the highlights.
okay.
We'll have more slides than you will pages.
So I don't know if it's a technical thing on my end, but when you share a screen, I can't see any of my background. So when I have that document up, I can't see it when you share. That might be some setting I have, I don't know. In other words, when you share, I go from partial screen to full screen and I can't see a document while you're doing that.
So when she does that, up in the top right-hand corner, there's a view link.
Yeah.
And what you would do is just exit full screen, and that'll give you the ability to move your windows around.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I tried that, but maybe I see, okay, enter, because right now I'm seeing enter full screen, which it obviously isn't on full screen, but when she shares, then I'll do that again, go to,
Correct.
okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Let's try it. There you go. I'm sharing my screen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've been an agent for about 1.5 years or so. Yeah, let me try that right here. Let me move I don't know.
Yep. So in the top right,
it might be oversized because I'm seeing, obviously seeing your screen.
Yep.
But I don't see the icon to be able to view options. Okay. Because I was playing with this before. So right now it's fit to window. If I go to say 100% original size, I get a black background beyond your screen.
Yeah, I mean, you can slide those around. There's a slider in the middle.
No. So it's fine when you're not sharing. I can see my background like right now. But I see what you're talking about, Mike, the enter full screen. But when you go into screen share, I no longer can see that icon where I can choose that. If that makes any sense?
Yes. So up at the top where it says view options,
right.
One of those options is exit full screen.
Okay.
And if you click that, then it'll bring it back to how you have it.
Lorna, you want to try to share again for just a second? Let's see if that works.
Yeah. So view options, and then the third one down should be exit full screen.
Okay. That must be it. Got it. Okay. Perfect.
I'll tell you what, John, I play with that all the time when I'm listening to Zoom calls. If I'm trying to like put it on a second screen or move it around. So it just takes some practice. Trust me, you'll get it.
Yeah. And like I said, I've been an agent for a little while, and in the beginning, you guys were discussing a lot of these people are new. I don't really consider myself full-time because I'm not as regimented and I have other streams of income that I work on. But I think it's a major obstacle to overcome. Like when I was first became an agent, first couple months, a good friend of mine, he was selling his house. We were talking all the time about it, strategizing, and he calls me up and says, I'm going with someone else. It sells houses all the time. I just can't risk this transaction to somebody who just started. And even, I don't know if you guys hear that guy, Dave Ramsey, sometimes, but he recommends, agents that, are basically saying, don't go with an agent that's not experienced, so really to overcome that is very tough. I haven't had a lot of success. I have a listing right now that's I'm in Connecticut, so it's an older home, and it has a lot of issues, and it's got a reverse mortgage on it, and the clients are elderly, and taxes are high, and it's been on the market. They had it on the market prior for a year with another agent, but they gave it to me because I knew them, they trust me, and they know I would work hard at it, where the other agent just kind of, their only strategy was to reduce. So, but it's hard to, you got to really kind of balance that, get that mindset straight and balance it with, not working on the bottom of the barrel all the time too. And, sometimes you have to accept that to get going on it, but it's tough.
I agree. And I think that it is just that mindset. Start with the mindset and everything else will fall into place for sure. And, jumping in with both feet. It's, obviously, again, for you, it might be a little bit different, but overall, if you can jump in and get those hands-on experiences, shadowing another agent, doing an open house with somebody, just getting there out there, that gives you the validation and confidence, for sure.
Yeah,
So
a lot of it is confidence, that's for
yeah.
sure.
And
Yeah.
again, goes back to mindset, right?
It's true.
True.
Okay.
Well, good luck with your listing, and I look forward to seeing you at Ignite.
Thank you. Are you teaching again tomorrow or are you?
Nope, not teaching again till the 11th.
Okay, great. We'll see you then.
All right, bye.
Have a great week. Bye now.